Spurs go marching in, and certainly they're back on track with back-to-back wins against Nottingham Forest, and that certainly has helped after 5 without a win previously. But Everton are very good on their travels. Only Tottenham actually have a better record, but a good atmosphere, and we're underway with Spurs in all white playing from left to right, and Everton will try and shrug off the disappointment of that League Cup quarter-final defeat in midweek. The usual goal service will be going here, there and everywhere. We've got the racing as well. We'll be off to Ascot very, very soon for what is the Silver Cup handicap chase with John Hunt, as the ball is played down the line to Kulusevski on that far side, the left, still sporting a mask. Kulusevski waits, he chips it, Sarr down into the ground, and took a lot of the pace off the ball, and a comfortable save for Pickford. Mark.
Yeah, it was a slight fumble there for a second there from Pickford. I mean, he grabbed it very, very quickly on the second attempt. As he knocks the ball long, Calvert-Lewin just gets a good touch on the ball and isn't able to keep it close enough to him, and Tottenham mop up pretty quickly afterwards.
Now, straight away at the other end, Romero has gone down, and I would think at the minute, every time a player falls to the floor, your fellow Australian Ange Postecoglou must wince.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit dire for them, isn't it, at the moment? But, you know, what they've done so well is, though, they've just picked themselves up and they've just kept going. And, you know, the next players come in, and Ange does that really well. He keeps the whole squad together, even though players may be on the fringes a little bit, just by certain, like, not playing games, not starting games. But he's able to maintain a good relationship with them, that they can slot back into the team really quickly if he needs them.
Yeah, he was saying in the build-up to the game, he's not focusing on the problems that they've got, and they have got a fair share in terms of injuries and suspension. Just concentrating on the solutions. Spurs, they might have a problem here because Garner has dispossessed Davies. He rolls it in, but Romero back to his feet and fully recovered, it seems, coming across on the cover to snuff out any danger that was posed by Calvert-Lewin. As Everton are playing from right to left as we look. And in front of their travelling support that have made the journey down from Merseyside, 3,000 of them in the northeast corner on that far side. That's where the throw is taken. As Everton wait, ball is rolled back. Harrison challenged by Romero, out for another Everton throw. So in the early kickoffs, West Ham United 2, Manchester United 0. They failed to score. Manchester United now in 4 successive games in all competitions for the first time since 1992. And Leeds United remain unbeaten at Ellen Road after a 4-0 victory against Ipswich Town to close the gap to within 7 points of second-placed Ipswich. The ball from Tarkowski had to be a hurried pass to Branthwaite. He was almost closed down. But here is McNeil operating on the left-hand side for Everton. Up against Porro, and he works over the cross, and it came off the shins of Porro, and Everton got a corner kick.
Yeah, Everton has started very, very well, very positively. They've been on the front foot. They haven't allowed Tottenham to settle in this game whatsoever. We saw it before. Pedro Porro got dispossessed, almost passed it square across to Davies. Davies then lost the ball, and that's where this pressure has begun from, because of Everton being on that front foot and right up for this game.
So on this near side, the Everton left, this should be an in-swinging corner kick for Everton. Garner to take it, delivered towards the far post. Mykolenko drives it into the ground as it came to him just inside the penalty area, and Vicario in his ultra-blue goalkeeping outfit made the save comfortably away towards his right. I think the deflection took a lot of the pace off it, didn't it? Yeah,
he couldn't quite get the connection I think he really wanted, and then it was that deflection in there as well, so it did take a lot of pace off, which sometimes can make it really difficult for the goalkeeper. Vicario did really well because he had Calvert-Lewin waiting and ready to pounce had he have spilled that simple, what seemed like a simple take.
Vicario, who has started all, well, 18 Premier League games if you include today, since he arrived from Empoli. Back with the Spurs keeper, and he strokes it out towards Romero. Porro, as you often see with Ange Postecoglou's teams, is playing in that inverted role at the moment. So it's the 2 central defenders, so there's a large gap between the 2 of them as the fullbacks are pushed on and pushed in. Let's get an update from Kenilworth Road. Mas Faruqi.
Goalless, but a good start for Luton. A couple of chances for Jacob Brown, a shot on target as well. Unsurprisingly, it's a Luton Town side who have come out fighting. Still Luton 0, Newcastle 0 though.
Blackburn Rovers have taken an early lead at Ewood Park in the Championship. Blackburn Rovers 1, Watford 0. Here is Emerson playing at left back. He's certainly shown his versatility to the Tottenham cause in recent weeks. He's appeared also as a centre-back on a couple of occasions, as Sarr was closed down quickly by McNeil, back towards his goalkeeper. Slowly but surely playing out from the back, now out with Davis. Ahead of him on that far side is Son, looking for the run of Kulusevski. Get there too with Kulusevski, and invites the sliding challenge from Tarkowski. And Tottenham Hotspur have taken that throw very, very quickly. The multi-ball system was in operation. It was quickly whipped off that white cone on that far side, as Everton now will have a throw. But a nice pace to the game in the early stages.
Yeah, one that we probably expected. I expected certainly Tottenham to try and up the tempo of the game, but they haven't been able to do it just yet, because Everton have been so good, so quick out of the blocks, and have really put Tottenham under a lot of pressure.
Tottenham have enjoyed 29 wins in the Premier League against Everton. It's the most of any opponent. And during that time, they've registered 98 goals against the Everton side, who are being cheered on by that loyal support, and they're currently in good voice on that far side as the ball runs through towards Vicario. It's an underarm throw out to Romero. Romero over the top, looking for the run of Johnson. Bouncing ball headed out by Branthwaite. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, to the BBC World Service. Always a pleasure to have your company with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're in North London. There's patches of blue sky. It's by and large a grey afternoon, but the clouds are quite high, and it's very, very mild, and it's still goalless. And in fact, in any of the 3 o'clock games, either at Fulham, Luton, Nottingham Forest, there's yet to be a goal so far in the top flight. But Bolton Wanderers are leading by a 1-0 in League One. Bolton 1, Leyton Orient 0. The Spurs are attacking. Son, far side the left, playing from left to right, all in white. Son cuts inside, edge of the area. Plays the ball back towards Skip. Referee's played the advantage. Stuart Atwell. There was a foul on Son. And now Everton break, and the Spurs fans complain. They couldn't take advantage, but Everton might be able to. Here is Calvert-Lewin in the box. Great recovery challenge by Romero. Well, I'm sorry, you can't have your cake and eat it. The referee played the advantage. Tottenham didn't take advantage, and Everton were quite entitled to break.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because there just didn't seem to be any advantage to be had. I mean, you're right, Tottenham didn't make any good with the ball, but they were dispossessed in an awkward position. And from that moment onwards, they had numbers back, except Calvert-Lewin did really well. Just peels off, drops off to the left-hand side, gets played through, but unfortunately for him, it's the pace of the ball isn't enough to take it in his stride, and it takes him a little bit wide away from the goal and allows Romeo to get back and pull off a very good challenge, actually.
That's the voice of Mark Schwarzer with us here today, as the corner kick for Everton, clipped into the near post by Garner, headed out. It's going to come back out towards Garner on this near side, the Everton left. Patterson then plays the ball up towards Mykolenko, takes it on his chest, closed down by Porro, who's able to turn and then will win a goal kick. No, the ball actually spins quite viciously and allows Davis to clear to Kulusevski. Can't roll away from Patterson, and then the referee Stuart Atwell gives a free kick to Tottenham, which is much to the satisfaction of the Spurs supporters. And because the ball was moving, the quick free kick has to be retaken. We'll go to Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
0-0 here, but 2 chances for Forest. Wood looked offside, through, went for the side foot, didn't get enough power on it. Then Elanga, a good low save from Neto. Warm reception, by the way, for Nuno at the start of the game from the Forest fans. Forest 0, Bournemouth 0.
Kilmarnock are leading St Johnstone by 1-0 at Rugby Park, and at Oakwell in League One. Barnsley 0, Stevenage 1. Stevenage unbeaten in 9 and going well at the top of the table. Skip plays it back to Romero. Romero now to Johnson. Porro's on the inside. Kulusevski's also made a run through the middle. Johnson plays it back to Porro. Sarr now takes it over. Looks for the run of Johnson. It's threaded through. Johnson's early ball. Richarlison. Wonderful goal by Tottenham Hotspur. And Richarlison scores against his former club. And he is a man in form. 4 goals in his 3rd game. And Spurs lead 1-0.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant play down this right-hand side from Tottenham. Really nice. So initially, the run from Brennan Johnson to peel out wide on the right-hand side. First time cross into that danger zone in that near post area, and Richarlison uncontested and just simply gets a foot on it, and it's a really nice finish and a very well-worked goal by Tottenham.
It was the incision, it was the pace. 4 players involved in the build-up, and then the first time cross and it was the easiest of tasks for Richarlison. 7 yards out just to sweep it in.
Yeah, it's a great ball from Brennan Johnson. Also, you can't underestimate Kulusevski's involvement. He just runs over it and allows the ball to go under his feet, between his legs, into the path of Brennan Johnson, who hits it first time in that danger area. All he needs to do is hit in that near post zone, and Richarlison's there, and he just almost just takes it in his stride and opens up and slots it in from very close range. Great finish.
He scored in the third successive game. As we're saying, 4 in 3 now, and you think previously it was only 2 in his previous 39. So Spurs are ahead. Bolton have got a second goal at home to Leyton Orient. Bolton 2, Leyton Orient 0. Accrington lead Walsall by a goal to 0, and there are no other goals to tell you about so far. And by my maths, 9 minutes, that's the first goal that Everton have conceded in the Premier League in 6 hours and 24 minutes in the top flight. Let's get an update from Fulham. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Burnley 0. Burnley by far the better of the two sides. Lyle Foster almost with a clear side of goal, but as he looked to head home, the ball well cleared away for a corner. 10 gone, Fulham 0, Burnley 0.
It's also as well, Tottenham have scored now in each of their last 30 Premier League games. It's the longest ongoing run in the competition, and it's Tottenham's best run since they last scored 30 back in 1962. So what's that, 61 years under Bill Nicholson was the last time that they achieved that. So that's a fine record for Ange Postecoglou. And Spurs lead by a goal to 0. But it was a well-worked goal by Tottenham down the right-hand side. So Richarlison, who made just over 150 appearances in his 4 years at Goodison, comes back to haunt his old club. An update in the Rugby Union, Bath against Harlequins, James Burridge.
Ridiculous start here early on. Joan Thuckenasinger for Bath after a wonderful delayed pass from Finn Russell. Thuckenasinger in the corner, and then Marcus Smith, his first touch, takes the ball from Danny Kerr, splits Bath in two, scores to the left of the post. Fantastic first try from Smith, 5 points all.
Incidentally, Victorino won that Silver Cup handicap chase at Ascot in the 3 o'clock. As Spurs are attacking, Johnson could be in here, and he couldn't keep it down. It was a cross from the left-hand side by Emerson, and Johnson just really did attack it with pace, and he flashed it over the top.
Oh, he's got to score. He makes a fantastic run. Firstly, Emerson Royale's cross is brilliant, and it's only Mikalenko. I think he does just enough to question it, whether or not Brennan Johnson could get a clear enough strike on it, but he does, and he just puts it over the crossbar. What a chance for Tottenham.
They're back on track after that run of 5 games without a win, and Everton, who've won all 3 trips to London this season, having failed to actually achieve a success in the previous 2 campaigns. They've won at Brentford, West Ham and Palace in this campaign. They're fortunate that they're not further behind. 1-0 to Tottenham, 13 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and also live on the World Service. We've got the top of the table clash, Liverpool against Arsenal, to come at 5:30 from Anfield a little later on, and then 5 Live boxing from 9 live from Saudi Arabia, although the boxing coverage actually does start at 7:30 on Sports Extra, and then at 9 we'll switch to 5 Live. But if you want the early coverage from Saudi Arabia, then Sports Extra is the place to be at 7:30, and there's been regular content updated in the last day or two with Steve Bunce and the team on the 5 Live boxing podcast. Spurs lead by a goal to 0. Goalless at Fulham, Luton Town and Nottingham Forest elsewhere in the top flight. Davis switches play, looking for Johnson. Spurs are full of confidence at the moment. Johnson just can't keep that ball in play. But it's been a good start from Ange Postecoglou and his team.
It has been, and we've seen it quite often with Tottenham, that they start games really well. They have a lot of possession, they create a lot of chances, they just don't make the most of it, and then they find themselves getting pegged back a bit. Let's just hope for Spurs, and certainly for Ange in this game, they're able to take advantage of all this possession, good play.
I'll tell you who else has made a good start as well. Bolton Wanderers, they're now leading Leyton Orient 3-0 at home in League One. Here is Calvert-Lewin, tussling for the ball in the midway through the Spurs half. Comes towards Onana, shrugs off the challenge of Sarr. Onana out towards McNeil, hits it first time but drags it wide. There's a left-footed effort just on the edge of the penalty area, well wide, goal kick.
Yeah, it had to be some strike to have beaten Vicario from that sort of angle, that sort of distance. Porro came across really well. O'Neill just couldn't quite get the strike that he wanted, and he dragged it across the face of the goal. and it's missed probably a good 10 yards.
If you were to have a bet and think about the Tottenham Hotspur goal scorer Richarlison, who he's never heard of, either the Grinch, Scrooge or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, who do you think it would be?
Do I have to answer that?
If you don't want to, no. I'll give you the answer. It's Rudolph.
Rudolph.
That was the fact of the day with Tony Livesey. You can hear that on Drive every Friday at 5:20. I opted for Scrooge. Bar humbug, I got it wrong.
That's what I was thinking, actually. The first thing that came to my mind was Scrooge, yeah.
Tomorrow, on a foggy Christmas Eve, John Murray will be at Molineux. We'll have news of Wolves against Chelsea at 1 o'clock. But after we've already heard from our football correspondent alongside Stephen Warnock for the game at Anfield at 5:30. This is 5 Live. Branthwaite at the back. Diagonal ball. Mikolenko keeps the ball in play on this near side, the left. Now level with the area. Sends over the cross. Calvert-Lewin with a header. And fisted away and punched clear by Vicario. Very good save. Good move by Everton.
Yeah, very good move. It was very nice run down the left-hand side here for Mikolenko. Had a little bit of space. Opted to hit an early ball into the box. I think it's Ben Davies actually falls asleep a little bit. He just does not react. Calvert-Lewin.
Mikolenko sweeps in another cross, this time a little bit almost midway through the Tottenham half, and it was an angled cross, curling and floating, and Calvert-Lewin not too far away. Pace of the game at the moment is terrific. 1-0 to Tottenham, offside.
Yeah, very good pace of the game. I mean, Tottenham have to be a little bit careful. We've seen quite a bit of play down this left-hand side for Everton. They've been very dangerous. McNeil's ball into the box was a dangerous. Mikolenko's ball into the box was a dangerous one. So they've had a couple of scary moments, and they've got to make sure they're on top of their game and picking up in that box.
Ball over the top. Vicario's out, and he's left his goal, and then the ball is volleyed wide by Calvert-Lewin, but the flag's up anyway. It wouldn't have counted. I was just about to say to you before, just had to give you that little bit of commentary, is that the ball over the top. Vicario's good anticipation got him there. The way that Spurs play under Postecoglou, they'll always give the opposition a chance.
They will, because of that high line.
Here is Kulusevski. They'll also take the game to the opposition as they're doing now. Johnson on the overlap to Porro, sliding in Mikolenko behind for a corner kick. Yes. Plymouth 0, Birmingham City 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Steven Schumacher left Home Park on Tuesday to go to Stoke. And Plymouth, who've won their last 3 home games, have fallen behind to Wayne Rooney's side. No other goals elsewhere to tell you about. 5 Live, but this has been a very entertaining opening 17 minutes where Spurs lead by 1-0. Porro to take the corner kick. He rolls it short to Johnson, who got the assist for that opener. To Kulusevski, back towards Johnson. Johnson beaten up by the goalkeeper, comes towards Son, and Son buries in the rebound. And Tottenham Hotspur increase their advantage. They lead Everton by 2-0, and Son, their top scorer, with his 11th of the campaign.
Yeah, well taken by Tottenham there. Ball pops out to Son there. It was just a save, a reaction save from Jordan Pickford. Sees it a little bit late. Brennan Johnson struck the ball really well. It's a simple corner. He plays it out to Brennan Johnson. It's a simple 1-2. Brennan Johnson just runs into a bit of space, hits it from an angle. Pickford does well to get everything on it, and then it's just a simple tap in the end for Son. There's a lot of bodies in front of him. Everton had enough players around that just did not deal with it. Too many players watching the ball rather than reacting and trying to engage.
It was almost a scuffed effort, really, wasn't it, by Son with his right boot?
It actually was a scuffed effort. I think had he have not scuffed it, he may have hit it straight into an Everton player. But doesn't matter. They all count in the back of the net. Spurs 2-0 up and deserve to be.
So they've gone 6 hours and 15 minutes without conceding in the Premier League, and now they've conceded twice in the opening 18 minutes of this game here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kilmarnock leads St Johnstone by 2-0 at Rugby Park, and latest now from Luton, Masfaruqi.
Still goalless. A round of applause on 4 minutes as well by all fans here for Tom Lockyer, for the squad number of the Luton captain. A really good start by the home side, but Newcastle building into this game now, still 0-0.
Thank you, Maz. Sean Dyche down below, just taking a swig of water to collect his thoughts, because now they've got it all to do. And that was the 100th Premier League goal that Tottenham Hotspur have scored against Everton. And it's a vibrant stadium now.
Well, I don't think there's been a game so far this season where, since Ange has been at the club, that we haven't talked about how exciting it is to watch Tottenham play, certainly in the opening 20 minutes, half an hour of a game.
Well, they scored 4 at home against Newcastle when they were last here. They followed that up against Nottingham Forest. They've already got 2 inside this opening 20-minute period as Vicario sweeps the ball long, brought down off the chest by Patterson, the Everton right back on that far side. He plays a diagonal ball into Calvert-Lewin, his downward header looking for the run of Garner, hooked away though by Ben Davies, the Welsh international, and then quickly Emerson and Kulusevski closing down Harrison as this stadium that holds over 62,000 people, predominantly Spurs supporters, are looking to enjoy their Christmas, leading by 2-0 as Everton look for a way back in. Garner with a chip ball from that right side of the penalty area. Vicario with the underarm throw out to Porro. Porro closed down by McNeil, plays a short diagonal ball to Sarr. That was a heavy pass back to Vicario. Clubbed that a little bit, didn't he?
He certainly did, yeah. I mean, Vicario didn't actually flinch at all. Took it under very, very easily, took it into his stride. Nice little touch, played it back out to Sarr, and out come Tottenham.
And now Skip, diagonal ball inside. Richarlison leaves it towards Sarr. Good footwork to evade the challenge. Richarlison was caught. The referee again has played the advantage. Second time that Stuart Atwell has looked to do that, and Richarlison now is back on his feet. Spurs are all in white, playing from left to right.
Yeah, I mean, Trezeguet's gone down injured. It was his challenge on Richarlison. He's called to the bench, he's signalled to the bench, and he needs to come off. So we'll see what happens from this. And it was actually Porro who held off the challenge of McNeil as he actually stopped play to say, I'm not playing because Gay needs treatment. So Idrissa Gana Gay is going to get treatment. There is a stoppage here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 0. What about Nottingham Forest Bournemouth? Pat Murphy.
No goals so far, but the crowd are fired up because they're not too impressed with some of the referee decisions. But at the other end, Bournemouth, who look neat on the counter-attack. Solanke, deft turn, left foot shot, just past the right post. Forest 0, Bournemouth 0.
Okay, still getting treatment, so we go to the banks of the River Thames. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Burnley 0. Fulham beginning to move through the gears. Harry Wilson, Castagna, Iwobi, all having opportunities. James Trafford has been kept busy in the Burnley goal, but so far he's kept them out. Fulham 0, Burnley 0.
Blackpool are leading Bristol Rovers by 1-0 in League One, as we'll dip into the Championship and find out about the leaders Leicester. Aaron Paul.
Leicester 0, Rotherham 0. This one, the Championship's entertainers versus the Division's leakiest defence. But the visitors look organised and rigid in a back five, limiting Leicester to half efforts while springing attacks on the break. Encouraging stuff, 0-0.
At 5 o'clock tomorrow, on the back of that Wolves-Chelsea commentary, Aaron will be joined by Phil Brown and Sam Allardyce in a 72-plus Christmas special. That's at 5 o'clock on 5 Live. Here we are this Saturday afternoon. We're midway through the first half. Gay is still getting lengthy treatment. Richarlison looks like he's okay, as we'll go back into the Championship. And Katie Smith's watching Queen's Park Rangers Southampton.
It's QPR 0, Southampton 0. We just had another long range shot from the host QPR. Ilias Chair in the mood today. He took a chance on the halfway line. Sempazunu scrambling. It just cleared the top of the post. QPR looking to potentially move out of the bottom three today. 0-0.
Idrissa Gana Gay has just been shown a yellow card. He missed the Burnley game for accumulating 5 yellows. And that's probably going to be his last bit of the action, because he's hobbling off, Mark.
He is, yeah. I mean, he's been getting treatment on his left calf, and he pulled his sock down as well. So it was very obvious that's the area where he's hurt, and he's come off.
Well, a yellow card to Idrissa Gana Gay, but a red card. But to who to? Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Forest defender Willy Bolly. He was booked after 5 minutes for chopping down Billing. But now the referee, Rob Jones, adjudged that his late tackle on Adam Smith was a second yellow and therefore a red card. The score is Forest 0, Bournemouth 0. We await to see if VAR will intervene on this decision, but at the moment, Forest are down to 10 men, Ian.
Thank you, Pat. Tranmere 0, Swindon 1, Charlton 1, Burton 0. Andre Gomez has come on to replace Idrissa Gana Gay. He was on loan at Lille last season, made 26 appearances, but it's his first Everton appearance since he played Crystal Palace in May 2022. So he was an unused substitute on the opening day, and he's not featured since due to a calf injury. So Andre Gomez coming on for his 101st appearance for Everton after a long time away from the first team action for Everton. So he comes on for Gay. And that is the change that has been made for an Everton side that is 2-0 down. So Forest down to 10 men, still drawing 0-0 against Bournemouth. Luton 0, Newcastle 0, Fulham 0, Burnley 0. West Ham United beat Manchester United 2-0. 1 win in 7 now for Eric Ten Hag's side. Commentary to come from Anfield. We've also got the live boxing later on for you here on BBC Radio 5 Live. But 25 minutes in, and Spurs are in a comfortable position as the ball is played back to Vicario. Romero waits inside his penalty area, plays it across the box towards Davis. Now out towards Son, little layoff, little flick there by Sarr, nice back heel by Richarlison, that had the crowd purring, and it was Emerson coming forward from his left back role, and eventually was fouled by Onana, but it was such a slick passage of play. This is the type of football that the Tottenham fans haven't seen in recent seasons under more pragmatic coaches.
No, they haven't. I mean, it's just really nice, free-flowing sort of play from Tottenham. A lot of one-touch football from Son initially, then from Sarr, Richarlison, onto Emerson Royale, who's then fouled by Onana. And so Tottenham in a very positive position after being camped in their own half, deep in their own half, against up the pressure of Everton. They've come out of it very well.
So it's a free kick to Tottenham. After this free kick, we're going straight to Luton, where I can tell you there's been a goal. So don't go anywhere. Porro with the free kick. It's long, and it goes straight out of play for a goal kick. Goal then at Luton, Maz.
Liz for Luton, Andros Townsend heading in at the far post. The corner came in from the left from Doty, and then in celebration, Townsend holds up a number 4 jersey for Tom Lockyer. Luton 1, Newcastle 0.
A goal against his former club. Bristol Rovers, incidentally, have equalised at Blackpool. It's Blackpool 1, Bristol Rovers 1. And Luton are ahead. Fulham 0, Burnley 0, Forest down to 10 men as they draw 0-0 against Burnley. As Everton are attacking. Ball now out towards Mykolenko. Mykolenko on this near side, the left. Branthwaite just outside the centre circle. Tarkowski looking for Harrison, coming in off that right touchline, closed down well by Emerson Royale, and he volleys the ball clear. It's headed back though towards Harrison, goes down under a challenge. The referee says no foul. The Everton fans were howling for one from referee Stuart Atwell. The ball is played towards Davis, looking to try and beat the Everton press. They succeed. Porro pops up in a central midfield role. And now towards Kulusevski, they've got runners right, left and through the middle. Through the middle is Son, drifting out towards this right-hand side. Flicks it towards Johnson, and behind it goes for a corner kick. When they're in full flow like that, it must be so hard to deal with.
Yeah, very much so. There's a lot of movement off the ball, which creates that uncertainty in the Everton defence, creates space for Tottenham. The player on the ball has many options. It's just really picking out the right one. On that occasion, probably a little bit late from Kulusevski to play Son in. Easier from us from this nice elevated position to see the whole field.
Certainly is. Corner kick, Spurs lead 2-0. Sutton 0, Mansfield 1. Carlisle 0, Cheltenham 1. Porro ready to take it near side the right. Left arm goes aloft, right footed into the near post. Partially cleared by Everton. Skip wins that duel, that 50-50 with Harrison. Plays the ball back to Emerson, and he takes no chances. And the crowd groan as on the edge of the centre circle in the Everton half, with everybody ahead of him. He went all the way back towards Vicario. Here is Skip in the midfield for Tottenham Hotspur. 28 minutes played. Romero to Emerson. Comes under pressure from Onana, and that'll be a foul. Let's get an update from Fulham. Henry.
Fulham 0, Burnley 0. Concern for Burnley though. Skipper Josh Brownhill down, nasty bang on the knee. He's struggling to get up. Wait and see what happens there. Fulham, the better of the two sides, yet to really create a clear-cut opportunity. Fulham 0, Burnley 0.
Ball played forward by Porro, finds Richarlison. He threaded that one nicely. Richarlison with a cross. Patterson is there, left it for Pickford and then decided to clear it away just as Pickford had dropped to one knee. A position, incidentally, where he has stayed down on that one knee. He's slow to get back up to his feet, but he looks all right. Spurs lead 2-0. There is a real intensity about Tottenham Hotspur as we approach the half hour here on 5 Live in the World Service. And the crowd are certainly enjoying the football as Richarlison directs their header towards Kulusevski, and Pickford's out of his penalty area and hits it long downfield. Calvert-Lewin will give chase, and the flag is up. Just looking at the statistics, Mark, when Everton have conceded first this season, it's happened on 7 occasions. They've lost all 7.
You know what? They're not playing badly, I have to say. I mean, they are trying to still go at Tottenham. Tottenham are really tough to close down. When they are in free-flowing motion, when they have a little bit of space, a lot of movement off the ball, there's a lot of one-touch football, when they don't dawdle on the ball too long, they're very difficult to play against. Everton, though, are trying to make life difficult. They are trying to be on the front foot. They're trying to close them down higher up the pitch, but the movement is causing them problems at the moment.
Here is Davis across the back to Romero. Sheffield Wednesday, who've won 3 of their last 4 in the Championship, are leading again at home to Cardiff City. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff City 0. Skip comes under pressure from Gomez, and he eventually falls to the floor, and the referee gives the free kick, which is taken and knocked square towards Davis. Davis waits. Emerson was ahead of him, his left back. He now goes out, back pedals to that far side. The ball does go in field with a short diagonal pass towards Sarr. Caught in possession by Garner. Gomez plays it early. Davis, that was on the cover, slides not once but twice into the challenge. Helped on its way by Johnson. Porro now on the halfway line, the right back. Son is crying out for the ball in space. Porro has spotted him. Searching ball. One bounce. Brought under control by Son, left-hand side by the corner flag. Spurs lead 2-0, 5 live. Son enters the penalty area, nutmegs Patterson, and that allows Tarkowski to clear the ball long.
Yeah, Patterson does really well. He just stands his ground, holds up Son, doesn't commit, stays on his toes, and when Son actually just slightly miscontrols it and he gets it a little bit too far ahead of him, Patterson does well just to stand in front of him, and then it's easy then to be cleared from behind. So they do maintain possession, Tottenham, but they've broken down play with some decent defending there from Patterson.
Here is Davis. Looks for the forward ball in the air. That Patterson's downward header will be lifted away by Tarkowski. He finds Harrison 6 yards short of the halfway line on the Everton right, trailing 2-0 on 5 live. Diagonal ball inside goes to Calvert-Lewin. He lays it off to Onana. Onana, Gomez, now out with Harrison coming in off that right side. McNeil has drifted into a central area, and here he is. His forward ball, though, went actually in between Calvert-Lewin and Harrison, and it's picked up by Vicario, who throws it out, and then he actually ushers Sarr to keep on running, and that he does over the halfway line and midway through the Everton half. Now Porro on the attack. Morecambe 0, MK Dons 1. MK Dons unbeaten in 6 are leading at Morecambe, and that's in League 2. As the ball is played back to Skip, and Spurs at a walking pace go all the way back to Romero. Back to Nottingham Forest, who remember it down to 10 men. Pat Murphy.
It's still Forest 0, Bournemouth 0, and Willy Bolly, who copped the second yellow card there, so unlucky. He got to the ball first before tackling Smith, but the referee, Rob Jones, had made up his mind, much to the consternation of the Forest fans and players. Also, for some reason, Bournemouth's coach Andoni Iraola was booked, and then he brought on Scott as a substitute. Almost his first touch, he was booked to his absolute amazement. So basically, Rob Jones has got players and supporters in a ferment here. It's Forest 0, Bournemouth 0.
Sounds very card happy as Son with a cross from the left-hand side, cut out by the Everton defence, nudged out behind, and it will be a Tottenham throw.
Yeah, Son does really well. He tries to get the cross in, and then he runs off the pitch down into the gully by the boards, and manages then, as the ball comes back out, to scurry back up the hill and do enough to put Patterson off and win the throw-in. Romero,
he rolls it out to Johnson on this near side, the right. Porro's ahead of him. Porro level with the penalty area. Johnson makes the run inside. Porro, though, waits. Branthwaite is with him. He actually goes past Branthwaite, and then it was Mikolenko who's covering, who clatters the ball forcefully into the crowd. And judging, I mean, we're a long way up here in the main stand, so I actually can't see the steep stand beneath us, but Mikolenko must have caught a Spurs fan, because he put his hand up to acknowledge and apologise as that ball was hammered into the Tottenham support. As the ball then goes back, and Spurs remain in control, leading by 2-0. Last we heard from Kenilworth Road, Luton were ahead. Maz Faruqi.
They are still ahead, so close to a second though. Ross Barkley, a shot from distance that bounced off the crossbar and just about to safety for Newcastle, who just aren't in this game at all at the moment. Luton 1, Newcastle 0.
Commentary to come from Anfield at 5:30 with John Murray and Stephen Warnock. Mark Schwarzer is with us here today. Former Australian international, centurion for his country. What was it, 109 caps? And watching, the ball given away. But Everton, ball out towards Harrison. Cross comes in from the right-hand side. Spurs partially get it away. Garner with the volley, takes a deflection. Awkward one caught by Vicario.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he connected well enough with that with the volley, James Garner, and then obviously I think it was double deflection actually, just took enough of the pace off the ball to really not worry Vicaria at all.
Did you always think when you saw Ange Postecoglou in his previous roles that he would do as well as he's doing in the Premier League?
You know what? I always believed that he was given, if given an opportunity to, he would do well wherever he went. The problem was I just didn't think he'd be given the opportunity. You know, there was just that feeling of no Australian manager's had that opportunity ever before. Why is it going to change? Coming from Japan, how is he going to get over? So yeah, I didn't think I'd see it, but I believe that if he got given the opportunity, he'd do well.
Well, he's on course to take Tottenham to 36 points, which take them above Manchester City. It would take them to within 2 of Liverpool and 3 of Aston Villa and Arsenal. Barnsley have equalised at home to Stevenage at Oakwell. That's in League One. Barnsley 1, Stevenage 1. And at Tynecastle in the Scottish Premiership, Lawrence Shankland has scored for Hearts against St Mirren 1-0, and Reading have just taken the lead at home to Wigan in League One as well. Reading 1, Wigan Athletic 0. 5 live in the World Service. Spurs lead 2-0. Pickford with this free kick on the halfway line, went straight down the throat of Vicario, throws it out overarm towards Son, far side the left, attacking that towering south stand away towards our right hand side, where somewhere I can hear a drum beating. And it's certainly been a Spurs performance that has been played with a real good tempo as well, as we reach 9 minutes to go to half time. Goals from Richarlison against his former side, and then Son 9 minutes later. So 9 and 18 minutes were the times of the goals for Tottenham, as Richarlison, who scored 53 goals in his 152 appearances, the Spurs play the ball out very, very well from the Everton press. And here is the Brazilian we've just been talking about, and he feeds it towards Son, who accelerates and cuts in off that left touch line, and Son goes in towards the penalty area. He was just nudged a little bit by Branthwaite, and it was enough to put him off and out of his stride.
Yeah, it's not enough though, is it? It really isn't. I mean, Son is just he's in such a strong movement. He's at full flight. The slightest of little nudges just puts him off a little bit, and he just loses control of the ball. That allows Everton then to get the upper hand on him. But he does look great in full flow, doesn't he? Really.
And a yellow card has just been shown.
I think it's to Richarlison possibly. I mean, it's slightly later challenge on James Tarkowski there as he looks to play the ball wide. Not so sure really. I think Tarkowski's actually expecting the challenge, and he dives into the clearance.
Let's get an update from Luton again. Mas Faruqi.
Another shot on target for Luton, Adebayo this time, and now Lascelles has had to leave the field for Newcastle. It looks like a groin strain perhaps. Newcastle's extensive injury list lengthens again. Botman's come on in his place. Luton 1, Newcastle 0.
Nottingham Forest 0, Bournemouth 0. Forest are down to 10 men. Goalless at Craven Cottage between Fulham and Burnley. West Ham United earlier beat Manchester United by 2-0. It's the scoreline that Spurs currently lead Everton here on 5 live. No other goals elsewhere in the country to tell you about so far, but Everton have got a free kick that Pickford is in no real hurry to take at the moment. He's 25 yards out from his own goal. He hits it left-footed. It's high downfield. Richarlison actually is on that back line doing the defensive work for Spurs. Heads it away, picked up by Mikolenko. Garner lets it come across his body as he runs into the centre circle and passes the ball out far wide to the right-hand side. Here is Patterson midway through the Spurs half. Onana is on the inside of Garner, and he's able to collect that ball under any real pressure. Now Branthwaite rolls it towards McNeil. McNeil inside to Onana. Spurs have got everybody back at this stage. Let's go racing. It's the Betfair Exchange Trophy. It's at Ascot. Here's John Hunt.
And they're on the home turn in. Move it like Mini, one of the outsiders in front, but Lucia drawing alongside now, followed by Altobelli and Jonathan Burke on the outside. Jonathan won the big race earlier today. Fantastic performance on Crambo. He's got a chance here as well. Second last flight, Imposetoire is now coming out of the pack, but he made a mistake at the second last. Behind those is Hansard and Fevois, and then Iberico Law, who looks beaten, coming down towards the last flight. 5 with chances here. Lucia being tackled now by Imposetoire. Altobelli still there, touches down in third place, then Move It Like Mini. They're on to the run-in. Lucia is out in front, 100 metres left to go. Imposetoire coming for another crack at him though, closing the gap all the time. This will be another tide wide, the line coming up. Gros Etoile in behind those Alto Belli. So the day at Ascot ends here with victory for Lucia, trained by Nicky Henderson. And here next time we see Nicky, it'll be a big day on Boxing Day for him at Kempton, with his stable stars, Shishkin in the King George and Constitution Hill in the Christmas hurdle.
Yep, can't wait for that. Look forward to that. Merry Christmas to you, John. I noticed as well that Mrs. Claus was correct, wasn't she, with her prediction earlier?
Very good. She's smart, she is.
Here is Onana, meanwhile, for Everton, and his shot over the top goes wide. And Spurs still lead by 2-0. Haven't really missed anything whilst we heard the exciting conclusion to that Betfair Exchange Trophy race at Ascot. 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. And Everton trying to get away back into this game. Birmingham City, incidentally, have got a second goal at Plymouth. Plymouth 0, Birmingham City 2 is the latest score in the Championship. Here is Harrison, meanwhile, for Everton. Patterson's on the overlap, plays the ball to Patterson, cuts it back. Gomez couldn't take it. Mikalenko might. Those two balls on the pitch. Mikalenko was clearly off put there by the second ball on the pitch. He's got to strike it first time, and he's faced by two balls. Very, very unfortunate for Everton, and no wonder that Sean Dyche is complaining to the fourth official.
Yeah, I got no idea how that second ball's ended up on the pitch. Maybe it went out in the crowd, maybe it was thrown back on the pitch, not quite sure. It had been on the pitch for some time. And it's really unfortunate for Everton as the ball gets played to the far post. It's really so close, it's literally within half a metre of the second ball as the ball gets played across the face of goal. Mikalenko's sliding in at the far post. He just can't get the connection. He certainly would have been put off by that extra ball on the pitch.
Middlesbrough are leading West Bromwich Albion at the Riverside in the Championship by 1-0. Let's get news of that goal. Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, Middlesbrough brimming with confidence. Some brilliant play up the left-hand side. The ball squared in the area. Morgan Rogers was there to finish against the club he grew up through the youth ranks of. Middlesbrough 1, West Brom 0.
Shot from Ghana, straight at Vicario. We've seen enough from Everton to say that this game isn't over just yet.
Absolutely, and I think as long as Tottenham are going to continue to do what they're doing and playing out in the back, when it comes off, it's brilliant. But there's been a lot of times, certainly in this last sort of 5 or so minutes, where it hasn't come off. Everton have been really on the front foot. They've put a lot of pressure on them, won the ball in really high positions, and have turned that defending into an attack and have created some chances. Spurs have to be careful.
It's an entertaining game. McNeil now with a cross. It's a high one. Arcs its way across, doesn't go out of play. Harrison keeps it in play on the right. Patterson with a cross over the head of Calvert-Lewin, and then cleared away by Sarr as he was just alongside Romero, and it goes long, and Branthwaite passes the ball back towards Pickford. You know, earlier on, Stuart Atwell did show a yellow card, didn't he? Because I'm looking on the Premier League app that we have, and I actually can only see that Gay and Onana have been booked so far, so whether they're waiting for clarification as to who, but he did show a yellow card to somebody.
He did, yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I assumed it was Richarlison because of the challenge, which I don't think he was the challenge. I think it was Tarkowski himself, after clearing the ball, clatters Richarlison.
We'll keep an eye on that for a little bit of housekeeping. Meanwhile, we'll go to the Rugby Union. Bath Harlequins, James Burridge.
Bath leading by 8 points to 5. 5 minutes to go till half-time, and it's been a tale of the two tens. Finn Russell, wonderful influence for the first try scored by Joe Thuckener-Singer in the corner, and then Marcus Smith with his first touch. Terrific response, free-flowing rugby from the England number 10, but it's Bath 8, Quins 5.
And from Marcus Smith to Katie Smith, goal at Queen's Park Rangers.
QPR 0, Southampton 1. It felt like it had been coming. Southampton with a free kick on the far right-hand side, about 35 yards out, and then Taylor Harwood-Bellis with the volley at the back post. It makes it QPR 0, Southampton 1.
Gomez with a shot for Everton, inside right channel of the penalty area, takes a deflection behind. It's a goal kick. Spurs still lead by 2-0. Grimsby 0, Harrogate Town 1. Grimsby had been unbeaten in 6, but have fallen behind, as there is just a slight stoppage. It's Mikalenko. Is he winded? He's back on his feet now. Incidentally, there's going to be 5 minutes of added on time. We've only just ticked into the last 60 seconds now, but we're going to tell you we're going to have 5 minutes of added on time here in this first half. Fulham Burnley, Henry Moran.
Still goalless, but good opportunity for Burnley breaking forward. Foster on the right-hand side, got to the corner of the penalty area. His shot charged down, Burnley corner. Fulham the better of the two sides without breaking through as yet. Fulham 0, Burnley 0.
Plymouth have just got a goal back at home park in the Championship. Plymouth Argyle 1, Birmingham City 2. This is 5 Live, it's the Premier League. Also live on the BBC Sounds app and the World Service, where Tottenham Hotspur are leading Everton 2-0. Johnson couldn't keep the ball in play. It will be an Everton throw. And the thing is as well, and they've scored first in a number of games this season, but we've seen them drop points from winning positions. In fact, they've dropped a total of 16. So the Spurs fans might not be necessarily too comfortable until they get a third.
No, that's right. I mean, what Tottenham do all the time is they continue to play regardless of what the scoreline is, and they're not a side that will just sit back and look to contain or see out a result. They just want to keep going. They keep playing. They keep entertaining, and that's why you'll always see that they'll be creating opportunities, but also be giving away opportunities to the opposition. So therefore, Everton know that, and they'll just keep going.
There's confirmation from the fourth official, who is Tim Robinson, down below, putting up the 5 minutes on that bright green digit on this grey afternoon. Still the odd little patch of blue sky, a little bit of a purple haze as well above the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as ball is hooked on by Richarlison to Kulusevski, goes to ground under the challenge of Patterson, never a penalty, and cleared away by Everton. Goal at the Stadium of Light now in the Championship. Shojo Saka.
Sunderland 0, Coventry 1. It's Tatsuhiro Sakamoto bundling it home. Callum O'Hare with good work down the left after referee paid advantage, and it's Sakamoto with the finish. Sunderland 0, Coventry 1.
And I agree with Shojo that Michael Beale has really got to hit the ground running as Everton look for a counter-attack. It's a ball towards Harrison. Harrison cuts in on that right-hand side, enters the penalty area. Good save by Vicario. Took his time, left-footed shot. Saved by Vicario to keep it at 2-0 Spurs.
Yeah, it's a big chance for Everton. Harrison there, he's through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I think his first touch is not the best. It takes him back across towards the direction of the Tottenham defenders. It gave Royale and Romario opportunity to get back, and they made the block in the end, or made it more difficult for him to get a clean shot on goal. And Vicario makes a really good save, and the clearance, then the mop-up from his defenders was also very helpful.
He's made 2 good saves now. He made one from a Calvert-Lewin header earlier on in the first half. Spurs then still have a 2-goal cushion here on 5 Live in stoppage time. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Pat Murphy.
Still 0-0, but Bournemouth begins to make that extra man count now after Bolly sending off. Semenyo twice gone close, side foot gathered at the second attempt by the keeper, and just now he made space for himself, left foot just wide. Forest 0, Bournemouth 0.
Luton Town, remember, are leading Newcastle United by a goal to 0. Fulham 0, Burnley 0. West Ham 2, Manchester United 0 was the result earlier. Diagonal ball from McNeil, finds Harrison, couldn't take it with him, held up on the edge of the area, sends over the cross. Calvert-Lewin was there, good header out by Porro. Kulusevski being tugged back a little bit by Onana, but the referee didn't spot it. McNeil goes on a mazy run, goes down inside the penalty area. Again, the positioning of Stuart Atwell is to say no penalty. Patterson wins it back, steals it back for Everton, and then the ball goes behind, and Patterson tries to whip up the Everton crowd, because this is a really good spell for Everton.
It is. I mean, a lot of it's to do with Tottenham, the way they are trying to play out at the back. Loose passes, bad passes, players running in a different direction, not seeing the pass. And Everton, to their credit, know it, and they're on that front foot, and they're waiting for every opportunity.
So we are in the 3rd minute of the allotted minimum of 5 to be added on. Tottenham 2, Everton 0. Corner kick in front of the Everton supporters, far side the right, swung over towards the far post, and it goes all the way over and out for a goal kick. Our featured game in League One involves the leaders, and there's a penalty at Fratton Park. Victoria Polly.
Yes, and it's been scored by Colby Bishop. He's got his 12th of the season to put Portsmouth 1-0 up against Fleetwood Town. Alex Robertson's shot came into the box. It was handled by Boston Lual, the Celtic loanee at the back for Fleetwood. And Portsmouth are 1-0 up just before half-time.
They're going very, very well. Pompey at the top of the table. They were 7 points clear of Peterborough before today's games, as Pickford waits to take the goal kick. Enjoyed the first half, I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's always been entertaining watching Tottenham play this season. That goes without saying. I think just a slight lack of quality in the end from Everton to put pressure on. We're just seeing on the monitors a replay of the last corner that Everton had, and Kulusevski grabbing hold of Onana's shirt, and he's holding it for some time. I think it just is maybe a split second, not as long enough to warrant a penalty.
Well, here is Gomez. I was going to ask you about that. Gomez plays the ball over the top, headed out by Emerson, who was tucked in. As to whether Michael Oliver, the VAR, I mean, he would have had a look at it, but play was actually quickly back underway. Ball threaded through towards Garner, his with a cross, and it was smothered by Davis, and then eventually dived upon by Vicario. Half-time at Kenilworth Road, Luton 1, Newcastle 0. We'll be going around the grounds with Mark Chapman during the break, and obviously on Sports World with the World Service, likewise with Lee James. But as we are 20 seconds away, what are your thoughts of this first half, Mark Schwarzer?
Well, like I was just saying, very entertaining, never a dull moment. I don't think that's been a case with Tottenham at all this season. Everton obviously are flying high, very high in confidence, just lacking a bit of quality in that final third, not making the most of it. Final pass has been off, but they certainly are up for it and know that they're going to have chances against this Tottenham side. Tottenham have made it very difficult for themselves in this last 4 or 5 minutes of this half.
Might be able to conjure up another chance as a cross comes in from Patterson, but no, there is the half-time whistle. So Tottenham lead Everton by 2-0. Very well-worked goal on the 9th minute. It was Richarlison who finished it off. First goal in the Premier League that Everton have conceded in 6 hours and 24 minutes from Johnson's cross. And then they increased it after Johnson's effort, saved by Pickford, but the rebound, a scuffed effort by Son, increased Tottenham's lead. Half-time then here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 2, Everton 0.
On the stroke of half-time, Walsall in League 2 have equalised at Accrington Stanley. Freddie Draper has got that from the penalty spot, and he has now got 9 for the season. Thank you to Ian and Mark. We'll be back for the second half. Earlier on in the Premier League, West Ham 2, Manchester United 0 is how it finished. We'll try and get some reaction to that game during half-time. Let's go to Kenilworth Road next, where the home side lead at the break. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, Luton lead 1-0 and they deserve it. 45 minutes in which they've clearly been galvanised to play for their captain Tom Lockyer. The goal, a header from Andros Townsend. He wasn't picked up by Newcastle as the ball came to him from Barkley from a Doty corner. Barkley's hit the crossbar as well from distance. Adebayo is forced to save from Dubravka as well. And Newcastle have been frustrated and pretty tepid, to be honest, going forward at the other end. The best chance, a Callum Wilson header, which was blocked, and Byrne just couldn't get onto the rebound. And then their captain Lascelles has limped off as well. So the injuries keep coming for Eddie Howe. Lewis Miley has gone off as well. There was work to do certainly for Newcastle at the break. Luton lead 1-0.
Thought there'd be goals at Craven Cottage this afternoon, but Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Burnley 0. Fulham the better of the two sides, but they've not managed to get that real clear-cut opportunity as late as yet. Castagna, Wilson, Iwobi all forcing decent saves from Trafford, but the expectation of that flurry of goals for Fulham can be forgotten for now. The absence of the suspended Jimenez up front feels quite significant. Burnley, well, they've been quite ambitious, committing men forward when they have had the opportunity, but they've yet to really meaningfully test Leno in the Fulham goal. Evidence says that Fulham will find a way. They've just got to be patient. As to the fans, including a certain Hugh Grant today, it's Fulham 0, Burnley 0.
Nuno Espirito Santo in charge of Nottingham Forest for the first time this afternoon, but at half-time all the talk will be about the referee, Pat Murphy.
Indeed, Forest have got to play 3/4 of this game with 10 men. Willie Bolly sent off for a second yellow card. Referee Rob Jones didn't spot that Bolly got to the ball, made a clean tackle before he got stood on by Smith, his opposite number. It was an appalling decision, and he's just gone off the pitch just now with the chance of "you're not fit to referee" reverberating around the ground and various boos and catcalls. Not a great day for the referee. It's ruined the game. Chances at either end, but Forest uphill struggle. Could be the makings of them, though, in terms of morale. Forest 0, Bournemouth 0.
Thank you, Pat. And of course, in this great VAR system, because it was only a yellow card, VAR couldn't look at it. A second yellow card for Willie Bolly. Earlier on in the Championship, thumping win for third place Leeds over second place Ipswich. They won 4-0 at Elland Road. And there's maybe a surprise scoreline involving the leaders at the break. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Leicester 0, Rotherham 0. The home side have dominated all the stats. In fact, Rotherham haven't had a shot on or off target. But then again, I can't really remember a solid Leicester opportunity. Loads of passing, very little end product. The best entertainment is the cannon firing T-shirts and gifts into the crowd at half-time, because here it is Leicester 0, Rotherham 0.
Southampton are the form side in the division, and it's going well for them again this afternoon. Katie Smith.
Yeah, QPR 0, Southampton 1. Relegation threatened. QPR, though, they have played well. Ilias Chair trying a cheeky lob from the centre circle early on. It just scraped over the crossbar for Southampton, slowly growing into the half. They were patient. The breakthrough came from a free kick 35 yards out, powered in, volleyed home at the back post by Harwood Bellis. They are looking to extend their unbeaten run now to 15 games. QPR 0, Southampton 1.
Fifth place West Brom trail at the break at Middlesbrough. Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, Middlesbrough 1, West Brom 0. Borough full of confidence and deserve the lead as they look for their third win
on the bounce. Morgan Rogers with an easy finish in the end against his former club. West Brom have had their chances, but their inconsistent form continues. Furlong and Bartley coming close, but they trail here at the Riverside.
Mick Beale's first game in charge of Sunderland not necessarily going to plan. Shojo Saka.
Sunderland 0, Coventry 1. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto's goal in added time separates the sides. Coventry have mostly been restricted to counter-attack, so they're a little fortunate to be ahead, especially as Sunderland's Abdullah Bar missed a sitter at the other end. He made a total baubles up from 10 yards out, despite being completely unmarked. It's not exactly a Christmas cracker. Half-time, Sunderland 0, Coventry 1.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure why we're at the next game, and Charlie Slater, you may be feeling the same.
Mark, you're a busy man, and this is a busy show, so I'm not going to waste too much of your time. Stoke 0, Millwall 0. The first half is best summed up by Stoke's Keanu Hoover kicking his own teammate Mehdi Larice in the face. It's goalless.
Obviously we're there because it's Stephen Schumacher's first game in charge of Stoke. Thank you, Charlie. Blackburn lead Watford by a goal to 0 at the break. Adam Wharton got that goal. It's Norwich 0, Huddersfield 0. Stephen Schumacher, of course, leaving Plymouth to take over at Stoke, and Plymouth trail at home at the break. They've won their last 3 at Home Park, but Jay Stansfield 6th of the season and Jordan James put Wayne Rooney's side 2-0 up. Joe Edwards has pulled one back for the home side there. Sheffield Wednesday have won 3 of their last 4, lead at the break again. Anthony Masaba with his 5th of the season, and they are 1-0 up on Cardiff. How are the League One leaders going this afternoon? Portsmouth are at home to Fleetwood. Victoria Polly.
Portsmouth 1, Fleetwood 0. Colby Bishop's 12th league goal of the season from the spot has the League One leaders in front at half-time. Couple of chances for Abu Kamara in open play, had Pompey on top, but it was the final minute of the 2 added on at the end of the first half when Fleetwood defender Bosun Lawal handled Alex Robertson's shot. Referee pointed to the spot and Bishop converted. Portsmouth 1, Fleetwood 0.
Elsewhere, it's Barnsley 1, Stevenage 1. The visitors were ahead there until John McAtee's 7th of the season equalised for Neil Collins' side. Blackpool 1, Bristol Rovers 1. John Marquis' 6th of the season getting the equaliser there for Bristol Rovers. Great first half for Bolton, who've lost their last 2, but they're 3-0 up at home to Leyton Orient. Dean Charles got one of those, 15 for the season for him. The bottom side, Cheltenham, are ahead at Carlisle by a goal to 0 at half-time. Charlton, who were unbeaten in 6, lead Burton by a goal to 0. Goalless between Northampton and Oxford. Femi Aziz has got the goal for Reading, and they lead Wigan by a goal to 0. Goalless between Shrewsbury and Peterborough, and Wickham and Port Vale. Now, there were plenty of games in League Two last night. Leaders Stockport and Barrow in second both won. So how are Wrexham in third getting on this afternoon? Owain Gwyneth.
It's been an entertaining half of football at a packed-out racecourse. It's been all out attack from the off with both teams missing chances. Newport will be the happiest at the half, really testing a Conco in the Wrexham goal with efforts from Evans and Palmer Holden well saved. Elliot Lee missed a fluffed free header in the box for Wrexham. More the same in the second half, please, with just some goals. Wrexham 0, Newport 0.
Elsewhere in League Two, Accrington took the lead at home to Walsall through Tommy Lee's 6th of the season. But Freddie Draper with his 9th of the season from the penalty spot in first half stoppage time means it's 1-1 at the break. Grimsby 0, Harrogate 1, Morecambe 0, MK Dons 1, Max Dean with his 10th of the season there. Sutton 0, Mansfield 1, Sutton bottom of the table, and they sacked their manager Matt Gray during the week. Tranmere 0, Swindon 1, Dan Kemp's 13th of the season, the difference between the two sides there. Now, only 3 games taking place in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. Hearts lead St Mirren by a goal to 0. Kilmarnock 2-0 up on St Johnstone, and I would imagine the home fans are not happy at Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
No, Mark, I think they'd probably wish this game was off as well. Celtic 0, Livingston 0 at half-time. It should be told, though, Celtic have battered the visitors, but for all that huff and puff, they really just haven't knocked the house down. Kyogo should have 2, one from a fizzed low cross just towards the back stick. He just couldn't quite get there in time. The second, he was 1-on-1 goal, but the Livingston defender, Louis De Lucas, managed to make it back for a last-ditch great sliding tackle. Livy's best chance came deep into the first half. James Penrice penetrated down the left-hand side. Joel Nubley was on the end of the cross. Hart saved well, but to be honest, as you say, the natives are really restless, and I don't think, Mark, any gold, frankincense or myrrh could buy Brendan Rodgers a win at the moment. 0-0 at half-time.
The top two in the Scottish Championship both played last night. Dundee United drew 0-0 at bottom of the table, Queen's Park. Wraith drew 4-4 with Ayr. As far as the teams that are playing this afternoon, Adrionians 0, Morton 0, Arbroath 1, Dunfermline 0, and it's level between Partick Thistle and Inverness at 1-1. In League One, Alloa 0, Montrose 0, Annan 0, Leaders Falkirk 1, Hamilton 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Stirling 1, Queen of the South 0, and Cove Rangers 1, Edinburgh City 1, although that has only played half an hour. That was a late kick-off, kicked off at 3:30, did that game. In League 2, Dumbarton 2, Clyde 2, Peterhead 1, Forfar 2, Spartans 1, Stranraer 0, and the leaders Stenhousemuir lead Elgin by a goal to 0. Just back into England because we haven't done the National League. AFC Fylde 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Barnet 3, Boreham Wood 0, Chesterfield 1, Aldershot 1, Eastleigh 1, Dorking 0, FC Halifax 2, Rochdale 1, Kidderminster 1, Southend 2, Oldham 1, Gateshead 0, goalless between Oxford City and Solihull Moors. Wealdstone are 3-2 up on Hartlepool. Woking 0, Maidenhead 0, York City 1, Ebbsfleet 0. Bromley against Altrincham is a 5:30 kick-off in the National League. Now, in the Gallagher Premiership this afternoon, half-time scores these: Exeter 21, Leicester 0, and Gloucester 14, Northampton 24. And at the Rec, James Burridge?
Bath leading by 8 points to 5, Mark, and we've had two fly halves on fire here in the pouring rain and the howling gale. First off, Finn Russell, 2 minutes in, a beautiful delayed pass which released Ollie Lawrence and Joe Thockner-Singer on his shoulder to score in the right-hand side. Then, 2 minutes later, up put Marcus Smith. First touch. Shows a dummy, races through to score to the left-hand post. Danny Kerr's been yellow carded for killing the ball as Bath tried to score just before half-time. Instead, Russell knocked over a penalty, and this game living up to the hype. Bath 8, Quins 5.
Game in the United Rugby Championship finished Zebra 24, Benetton 31. Two games in the Women's Premiership today. Saracens beat Bristol 32-10. It finished Loughborough 19, Exeter 27. And I did say Cove Rangers were 2-1 up against Edinburgh. Well, that second goal for Cove Rangers has actually been disallowed. So it's Cove Rangers 1, Edinburgh 1. 4:04. Let's just get the latest BBC News.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. With the headlines, I'm Carl Hartley. Israel says it's questioning hundreds of suspected Hamas and Islamic Jihad fighters captured during the fighting in Gaza. The military says that some of the men had been hiding among civilians before surrendering to Israeli troops. Meanwhile, the Hamas-run health ministry says 20,258 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the latest conflict began. In London, pro-Palestinian protesters have been targeting the fashion brand Zara. Hundreds of people have marched on Oxford Street urging Christmas shoppers to boycott Israeli-linked brands. Elsewhere, detectives investigating the murder of a woman in southeast London have offered a £20,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of her body. Fiona Home went missing from Lewisham in June. A 65-year-old man was charged with her murder in July. And voting officials in Russia have disqualified a former journalist who was hoping to stand against Vladimir Putin in next year's presidential election. Officials say there have been mistakes in Yekaterina Duntsova's application.
BBC 5 Live.
Tonight, 5 Live Boxing travels to Riyadh for the biggest fight night of the year.
The show is about to begin.
One night, 3 heavyweight fights. With Daniel Dubois versus Jarrell Miller, Deontay Wilder taking on Joseph Parker, and topping the bill, Anthony Joshua fights Otto Valley.
And a right hand has landed on the chin, and it's a single shot KO from Anthony Joshua.
Hear live commentary with 5 Live Boxing this evening from 9 p.m. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
That boxing is 9 p.m. on 5 Live, but it actually gets underway at 7:30 on Sports Extra if you want to listen to some of the earlier fights on the card. We wait for the teams to come back out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the home side leading Everton by 2-0. So we'll take you back to the early game. West Ham 2, Manchester United 0. Here's Eric Ten Hag with Jonathan Pearce.
Decent first half, I think, for Manchester United.
I think decent 72 minutes, where we didn't take our chances. We should have go in the lead but we didn't. And then one moment of switching off, and then you're following fix.
That's 13 games for you now away from home against top 9 opposition from last season without a win. How worrying is that for you? Is it a worrying trend, or is it just one of those things in football?
In this moment, we are not top, but we have seen last week against the top of this league how we were head to head, and even we could have won that game. Or same issue, we didn't score where we had the best opportunities of the game. There we defended for 90 minutes very good and solid. That has to be always, I think, our standard.
Well, I'm sure Chris and Robbie will want to hear from you if you're a Manchester United fan coming back from the game on Erik ten Hag's view of his side this afternoon. They'll be here at around 7:30 at the conclusion of the big game today, Liverpool against Arsenal, and we will be live from Anfield at 5:30 with full commentary of that game. So at half-time in the Premier League, Fulham 0, Burnley 0, Luton 1, Newcastle 0, unlucky Nottingham Forest down to 10-0, Bournemouth 0, and at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is where we return now, the home side lead Everton by 2-0. Here are Mark and Ian.
Thanks, Mark. And Spurs are making a change as well. Eric Dyer, who really has become the forgotten man in many respects. It's only his third appearance of the season. He had groin surgery back in May, and I think he's been affected by a groin problem of late as well. It has been overlooked for at times too. He comes on for Romero at the start of the second half. So Vicario in goal, back four of Porro, Dyer, Davis and Emerson Royale at left back. Kulusevski, Skip, Sarr, Son, Richarlison and Brennan Johnson. Spurs in all white in the second half will be playing from right to left as we look. So they're defending that south stand as Everton restart the game after the whistle there of our referee Stuart Atwell, and in their orange and navy shirts and navy shorts they line up as follows: Pickford in goal, Patterson, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikolenko, Onana and now Gomez, he was a first half substitute, Harrison, Garner, McNeil and Calvert-Lewin. And I guess Mark Schwarzer, they will want to try and recreate the way that, in fact, they've done it again with a quick interception from Onana. I've answered my own question.
Yeah, just slightly under hit there from Ben Davies.
Finds it to Harrison. Harrison with a cross that was blocked. As Spurs leading by 2-0. Everton did have opportunities in that first half, didn't they?
They did, and a lot of it was due to the fact that obviously Tottenham, we know they're just trying to play at every opportunity. They play that high line, but also at the back they're trying to play out. Very, very rarely do they go long, and Everton obviously is starting up very high up the pitch. It doesn't matter. Tottenham will still try and play out at the back, and Tottenham were just caught out a few times. Poor passes, poor decision making, and then Everton just couldn't capitalise on it.
There's been a goal at one of Mark's former clubs. It's at Craven Cottage. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Burnley 1, and Wilson Odegaard with a beauty laid back to him, curled into the top corner. Second away game running. He's found the back of the net. Fulham 0, Burnley 1.
Bit of a surprise. Only one win in their last 11. Goal now at Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
It's for Kyogo. Ian, Celtic 1, Livingston 0. Palmer with a cut inside, put the ball towards the back post, and Kyogo was there to tap home from 3 yards. Celtic 1, Livy 0.
That would take Celtic 5 points clear of Rangers, although Rangers would have 2 games in hand, and one of them will be tomorrow when they travel to Motherwell tomorrow lunchtime. Blackpool 2, Bristol Rovers 1 is the latest score in League One. Spurs are attacking. Porro makes the run in behind on that right-hand side, delivers the cross. Flying header out by Tarkowski. Morecambe have just equalised in League 2 at home to MK Dons, 1-1. Johnson with the cross. Downward header into the penalty area. Garner doesn't get the ball away properly. Emerson Royale hits his chest. Now finds Kulusevski. Son back to Kulusevski, fractionally behind him, left side of the penalty area. And there was Harrison to intercept as he turns, flicked on by Gomez, only as far as Sarr. And then Calvert-Lewin takes a tumble. Coming together, says the referee, and play continues as Tottenham Hotspur now with the substitute Dyer inside the centre circle. Tomorrow, remember, on Christmas Eve, commentary from 1 o'clock on 5 Live. Wolves against Chelsea. 5 Live Sport as well, back on Boxing Day. with the racing from Kempton. Mark Chapman in the hot seat as usual from midday, as Norwich City are leading Huddersfield by a 1-0 at Carrow Road. 1 win in 10 for Huddersfield. Norwich looking to extend their unbeaten run to 5 games as there's a stoppage in play. It's a Tottenham throw on this near side. 2-3 minutes into the second half, as there's now been a goal at the City Ground. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Nottingham Forest. 10-man Nottingham Forest, scored by Anthony Elanga. Well set up by Chris Wood, who won an important tackle 30 yards out. Timed his pass to perfection. Elanga cut in, left foot. Forest 1, Bournemouth 0. They've got to play through it 3/4 of this game with 10 men, but they made a great start.
Well, especially considering that 6 without a win. They've collected just 1 point out of a possible 18. But that early goal by Elanga gives them something to protect the 10 men of Nottingham Forest. So every game in the top flight has had a goal. The earlier game was West Ham United 2, Manchester United 0. Leeds United in the Championship beat Ipswich Town 4-0 to close the gap to 7 points behind second-placed Ipswich. In the latest scores in the Premier League, Fulham 0, Burnley 1, Luton 1, Newcastle United 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 0, and here at Tottenham it is 2-0 to Spurs against Everton, as the ball goes back to Vicario, and the next goal in this game is going to be vital.
Yeah, it is, of course. You know, Tottenham obviously 2-0 up. If they get that goal, they go 3 clear, and then all of a sudden you just think it's almost like cruise control. But if they do concede, it'll be a nervy moment.
Son, his diagonal ball was just too close to Mykolenko as he tried to play in Johnson after initially collecting it from Richarlison. It was a nice turn by Richarlison as he took the ball into his feet. He now goes in pursuit of Pickford as the ball is rolled out to Tarkowski. Now with Patterson. Wickham, without a win in 9, are leading at home to Port Vale in League One. Hearts have just got a second goal as well against St Mirren at Tynecastle in the Scottish Premiership. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Quick free kick by Tarkowski, and Vicario saw it coming, and in his all-blue goalkeeping outfit comes out of his penalty area, but Emerson has been dispossessed by Gomez, who feeds it to Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin buries it. That goal has been coming. Everton have never given up, and Calvert-Lewin reduces the arrears across Vicario. Tottenham protest about the challenge on Emerson. The referee didn't see anything in that, and Everton go on to get a goal back, 2-1 to Spurs.
Yeah, no, the referee's just walked over towards Emerson Royale and then turned around and walked away, so I don't think he thinks he's injured either. I mean, my first thought, having not seen the replay, we're just watching it now, I didn't think it was a free kick. I mean, yeah, look, seeing it there again, he does run into him. I mean, we'll see what happens, whether the VAR overturn this or not, I'm not sure. I think it is a foul. I think it's a foul, and the referee didn't see it, and obviously Calvert-Lewin just takes advantage of it. Yeah, he's going to go check the monitor now. I think this will be ruled out.
Well, this is where the VAR at Stockley Park, Michael Oliver, has instructed Stuart Atwell to go and look at the monitor for a possible foul. Gomez on Emerson Royale, who is getting treatment. And so Stuart Atwell is now looking at it, and he's just seeing that there was going into the back of Emerson on his standing left leg.
Yeah, side of it. It's definitely a foul. Has to be a foul. If the referee doesn't give this, I don't know what he's going to give, because that is a foul.
Ange Postecoglou has made his points clear about he's not a fan of VAR, Ange Postecoglou. But you know, this is because he says, and it is, that they're re-refereeing the game. But he's had a look at the monitor, Stuart Atwell, and the goal is disallowed, and it will be a free kick. Meanwhile, another goal at Celtic, Gavin Wallace.
49 on the clock in Celtic 2, Livy 0. Ball in from a corner on this left-hand side, and Liam Scales, the big defender, was there to backward header it into the bottom right-hand corner. Celtic cruising. Celtic 2, Livy 0.
Northampton 1, Oxford 0, Reading 2, Wigan 0, and there's been another goal at Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
Equaliser for Bournemouth, ball not properly cleared, deep cross. Solanke loves them, a soaring, powerful header, glancing past the keeper, no chance. Forest 1, Bournemouth 1.
We checked with the Premier League at half-time, incidentally. There was just those 2 yellow cards shown during in the first half. Sean Dyche has been in the ear of the 4th official, Tim Robinson, but I think when he looks at it again, he will appreciate that there was a foul.
I mean, I think there's complaints from Tarkowski, because he's gone over to the referee, and it looks like he's berating the referee, which I don't think he is, but it just looked like from where we are, because he was quite animated. and you can see Sean Dyche on the sideline sort of almost laughing at Emerson Royale as he got up and hobbled off onto the sideline because he thinks he just went down way too easily. I think it's a foul. I think that's what we are there for. I think it's a foul. I think the referee got the initial decision incorrect. He obviously believes he did as well, and therefore he's overturned it.
James Tarkowski, as the Everton captain, is probably in his it's his prerogative, I guess, to have a word in the right sense with the referee Stuart Atwell. But certainly it's a warning for Tottenham that we've been talking about towards the end of the first half and again early in the second.
Well, I think there's been enough warnings for Tottenham throughout this game. I mean, time and time again they've been caught out in those sort of positions. In the defence of Emerson Royale this time, it was adjudged to be a foul, which I also believe it was. So therefore, it is what it is, and they got away with it.
Just looking at an image of Christian Romero, who's got an ice pack on his right hamstring. He's sat on the bench. So Tottenham are next in action away to Brighton, but there would be concern that there's a potential of another injury there for Postecoglou to deal with, bearing in mind that Maddison, Van der Ven, Solomon, Sessegnon, Bentancur, Perisic, Bissouma will still be serving a suspension. Udogie, though, will be back after his one-game ban for that game at the Amex on Thursday. This is 5 Live. Tottenham Hotspur lead 2-0 again. They've given the ball away rather cheaply in defence. Onana. Gomez lets it run through. McNeil with a cross, left-hand side, headed away by Emerson. Kulusevski waits for that bouncing ball to play it out towards Son. Emerson has now gone steaming ahead, and Son tries to find him, but Patterson gets there, and the ball goes out of play, and Emerson again has gone down, and Sean Dyche once more does not look amused. Update in the Rugby Union, Bath Harlequins, James Burridge.
And a bright start for Bath. 2 tries early in this second half. The first from Elliot Stooke from the driving maul. The second just now from Joe Thokenasinger, his second of the game. Brilliant from Bath, opening in this second half. 20 points to 5 after Finn Russell strokes the conversion.
Kulusevski floats it out towards Brennan Johnson, inside to Porro, hits it first time blocked, comes to Johnson just inside the area, back towards Sarr, he hits it, stopped by the goalkeeper, Tarkowski gets the ball away. Tottenham close to a third.
Yeah, it all comes about because of Kulusevski. He takes his touch, goes back to goal, really nice body movement, drops his shoulder, takes the touch on the outside of his left foot, and just leaves his defender in his wake, and from that this chance is created. Brennan Johnson gets a little bit lucky in terms of tries to play the ball across, gets a deflection back to him, plays it square, and there's that shot on goal. Pickford makes a decent save in the end.
Tranmere have equalised at home to Swindon at Prenton Park. Tranmere 1, Swindon 1 is the latest score in League 2. Clearance by Mikolenko, Ukrainian international. Downward header by Calvert-Lewin towards McNeil. Gomez picks it up. Calvert-Lewin has stayed out wide on that far side, the left. Calvert-Lewin looks for the run in behind of McNeil. He looks for the cutback. That was blocked and checked by Porro. Sarr at the moment is down inside the Everton half, and Onana puts the ball out of play for a Tottenham throw.
Yeah, Sarr's been down for a little bit. Richarlison got the ball initially, he turns and actually goes on a bit of a sprint and then miscontrols it. I don't think he realises that his teammate's down on the ground. Onana's actually calling over to the bench for assistance for Sarr. You can see there, he gets trodden on accidentally. I think it's McNeil who jumps over him. Yeah, and he just steps on the back of his knee.
I can tell you in League One, Shrewsbury leading Peterborough by 1-0. Peterborough was second in the table in League One this morning. They were 7 points behind Portsmouth, who are leading, last we heard, against Fleetwood. But Shrewsbury have taken the lead. Peterborough unbeaten in 5. Play's going to get underway. Sarr hobbling is back on the field. We're 12 minutes into the second half as the ball goes back to Pickford. Pickford to Tarkowski. Hits it long. Calvert-Lewin beaten in the air by Davis. Welsh international climbed high. Loose ball picked up by Skip inside the centre circle. Diagonal ball searching towards Johnson. Kicks on away from Johnson. Mikolenko has gone with him. Johnson waits, plays it back inside to Porro, right corner of the area, onto his left foot, closed down, and will spin out of play. and it will go out for a throw down by the corner flag. Leyton Orient have got a goal back. Bolton 3, Leyton Orient 1 is the latest score in League One, and there's been a goal at Leicester in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
They've huffed, they've puffed, they've blown the Rotherham United house down, and it's a goal for Patson Daka and Leicester City. The initial shot from Ndidi, parried away by Johansson, who's been brave in the Rotherham goal, but there was Daka to strike home from close range. Leicester 1, Rotherham 0.
Leicester looking for what would be a 5th straight victory. Rotherham, incidentally, have lost both of their games under their new manager, Liam Richardson, as they look to extend their lead over Ipswich Town, second in the table after that heavy defeat that they suffered at Ellen Road earlier today. Here is Onana. Out it goes to that far side. Garner holds off the challenge of Johnson. Back pass to Pickford. Richarlison closes him down. Pickford gets it away to Tarkowski, who now finds Patterson, the Scottish international, near side the right, lifts the ball forward up towards Calvert-Lewin. Bouncing ball headed away by Dyer and tied up by Skip. Back to Bath. James Burridge. Can't get to James just yet. Header forward by Tarkowski. Picked up by Kulusevski. To Son. Son now on the left-hand side, enters the penalty area, goes towards the byline, pulls it back, headed out by Tarkowski, and then eventually cleared away. It remains 2-0 after that goal was disallowed for Everton. Spurs looking to try and seal the 3 points. Kulusevski with a cross towards Johnson, heads it up and heads it behind from the former Forest player, as we go to find out how Forest are faring at home to Bournemouth with Pat Murphy.
They're now 2-1 down, and Dominic Solanke has scored again. Corner, short corner, not properly cleared, bobbled around, and there he was, poaching just right, side foot within 6 yards out. Solanke's second goal. Forest 1, Bournemouth 2.
We'll try again with James Burridge at Bath.
Yes, Jack Walker had just touched down for Harlequins, who looked out of the this is a contest, but they're back in it now. 20 points to 12 as Marcus Smith slots the conversion.
Ball over the top towards Kulusevski. Tarkowski's header might run towards Kulusevski, but there was Mikolenko just to take the ball away from the Tottenham player. Up towards McNeil, midway through the Everton half, running back down towards the corner flag on that far side. Kept the ball well though under pressure, and now Andre Gomez will play it back towards Garner. They've got 2 over on this near side the right. Patterson takes one touch and he's got Harrison ahead of him. Everton now attacking. Harrison comes on the inside of Emerson Royale, and he's helped out by Son as Spurs still lead by 2-0. Kilmarnock 2, St Johnstone 1. St Johnstone have got a goal back at Rugby Park. Free kick goes in favour of Tottenham Hotspur. We've got half an hour remaining.
We do, and it's an entertaining game, obviously. It's carried on from that first 45 minutes where both sides were really going at it. Obviously, Tottenham have taken advantage with being a bit more clinical in front of goal. Everton have had some chances, just not been on it, not in that final third anyway.
Here is McNeil, picks up the loose ball short of the halfway line. Everton in their orange and navy shirts, playing from left to right as we look, but then go back. Kenilworth Road, Mas Faruqi.
Isak has had the ball in the back of the net for Newcastle, but he was marginally offside. He was just fed in at the edge of the area by Almiron. VAR took a long look, but the on-the-field decision is correct and stands. So goal scrapped, still Luton 1, Newcastle 0.
Fulham 0, Burnley 1. Ball in from Harrison is a good one to find Garner. Oh, Garner's just brushed the base of the left-hand post. It was a sweet strike, right-footed. Made the run into the inside right channel of the area, and it just kissed it behind for a goal kick. Lovely ball from Harrison.
Yeah, outside of the boot, Harrison dinks it over the top of Ben Davies, and you can see there as he turns on it, Garner, really good touch on a turn, just skims the outside of the post. Great strike.
Everton haven't had much fortune in this second half. They've had a goal disallowed and have come close again, hitting the base of the post. A goal at Wrexham. Owen Gwyneth.
Yeah, it's been coming. Finally, Wrexham ahead 1-0. Ben Tozer, the former Newport man, with a long throw, and James Jones in the right place at the right time to poke in. Newport 1, Wrexham 1, Newport 0.
Johnson with the effort, but he's put it well wide. Goal at penalty now in the Championship, Aaron Paul.
Penalty to Leicester, 1 by Patson Daka, scored by Patson Daka. 2 for Daka, 2 for Leicester. Leicester 2, Rotherham United 0.
That will take them 6 points clear of Ipswich Town, as there's a substitution here for Tottenham. Richarlison is coming off and Højbjerg is coming on. Højbjerg, who made such a difference for Tottenham when he came on at the start of the second half against Manchester City. Richarlison actually is just holding his back as he was walking off there, so whether he's just got a little bit of a niggle, he turns around and actually acknowledges the Everton support, who acknowledged that by applauding the Brazilian. So there might be a little bit of a concern there with a back problem.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, it's hard to say because they really haven't had a lot of ball in attack. Tottenham, they've been doing a lot of work defensively, haven't been able to get out too often. So I haven't really been able to see whether or not he's been carrying anything, but obviously it's a precautionary measure more than anything else.
Shrewsbury have conceded, so Peterborough are level. Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 1. We know obviously that Wrexham are now leading, and Leyton Orient is staging a fight back. Bolton Wanderers, who were 3-0 up, Bolton 3, Leyton Orient 2, Northampton 1, Oxford United 1. So Oxford United have levelled through Cameron Brannigan from the penalty spot just past the hour in League One. 63 minutes played. In the Premier League of the latest scores, Fulham 0, Burnley 1. Luton leading Newcastle United by 1-0 after 3 successive defeats, and all of whether they've had to go through with the incident involving Tom Lockyer, then that will be a real fillip for everybody concerned at Kenilworth Road if they can hang on to the 3 points. And Forest, down to 10 men, were leading but have since relinquished that lead, and Bournemouth are now 2-1 up at the City Ground for a Forest side without a win in 6. Another goal at Fratton Park, Victoria Polly.
It's Portsmouth 1, Fleetwood 1. Fleetwood in over 10 hours of football hadn't scored. Portsmouth hadn't conceded in their last 4. The ball was pinging around in the box from a corner, and Josh Earl has got on the end of it to make it Portsmouth 1, Fleetwood 1.
At 5:30, we've got commentary here on 5 Live with John Murray and Stephen Warnock of Liverpool against Arsenal. That mouth-watering game at Anfield. Team News will be brought to you in around 5 minutes' time here on 5 Live. The other side of Stanley Park are watching Everton, who have done so well on their travels in London of late. They were looking for a 4th successive win in the capital for the first time since 1911 and 1912, but they're 2-0 down. But they have come close to reducing the arrears, and they're coming forward now with Harrison, and Harrison challenged by Kulusevski. Dyer finds Emerson. Now towards Højbjerg, his forward ball. Son's over the halfway line. Garner slides into the challenge, can't stop him. Son manages to escape to the edge of the D. He finds Sarr. Sarr charged down by Tarkowski. And it is going to be Danjuma who's going to be coming on, who had that loan spell here last season. Wasn't a particular successful one. 2 goals in his 12 appearances, but it's another attacking move by Sean Dyche.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he has to. I mean, they're at the better of this second half. Everton. They've been really, really positive. They've put Tottenham under a lot of pressure, not allowed them to play out the back. Tottenham have looked nervy at times. They've given balls away in dangerous positions. Yes, Everton have found the back, and they're adjourned to be a foul leading up to it. They're in this game. They very much are, because they look like the only team at the moment that can score.
Well, it is Danjuma who's come on, and Harrison has gone off. Fulham were trailing at home to Burnley. There's been another goal. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Burnley 2, and what a moment for Sander Berge to break forward. On he went and drove the ball beyond Leno into the corner of the goal. Those Burnley fans are bouncing. Fulham 0, Burnley 2.
I'm not surprised that they are bouncing, because that takes Burnley to within 3 points of Nottingham Forest. Luton, remember, are also leading, so Forest really will be desperately looking over their shoulders at this stage as we approach the midway point of this Premier League campaign. Sheffield United 9, Burnley 11, Luton Town 12, Forest 14, as to how it currently stands down there at the foot of the table, as MK Dons are leading at Morecambe by 2-1. Plymouth 1, Birmingham 3 is the latest score in the Championship. You're up to date. Everton trailing 2-0, 5 Live, midway through the second half. Have a corner kick, which McNeil is going to take on this near side the right. Playing from left to right, McNeil left-footed, in it goes. Vicario impeded, half-headed out. Mikolenko fires it back in, struck Branthwaite. Spurs haven't got the ball away just yet, and eventually it will be Højbjerg who held on to it, and he's done well under pressure. Helped out now by Porro, but Everton trying to pin Spurs back. Højbjerg, Gomez quick to close him down, and it goes out of play for a Tottenham throw. It's a busy second half. Another goal, this time at Sunderland. Shojo Saka.
Sunderland 0, Coventry 2. Michael Beale's first game as Sunderland manager not going to plan at all. Hadji Wright from the left, setting up Callum O'Hare, who finished into the corner. Sunderland 0, Coventry 2.
Well, I think it's fair to say that it was an underwhelming appointment, judging by the majority of Spurs Sunderland fans on Wearside. from Coventry are going well. They've only lost one of their previous 7 going into that game. And Michael Beale, in his first game in charge, finds his side 2-0 down at the Stadium of Light. Midway through then the second half here on 5 Live. Everton find Danjuma, bouncing ball up towards his chest. Patterson's behind him. Emerson goes to ground, out of play, it goes for a throw. I deliberately watched Sean Dyche and he just turned round and once said he got the ball to either Ian Wone or Steve Stone. He's old school in that respect, isn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, meaning because he didn't get the ball? It was a long way off getting the ball.
You said that. Here he's up to Porro, couldn't control it. Don't seem to have had the same level of control in this second half, Tottenham.
No, they haven't. No, they've been very wasteful in possession. And I can see, that you can see the frustration with Tottenham at times, the way they play. It's the overplaying, they're getting themselves into trouble. When it works, it looks great. And they play through teams and they look very fluid. When they don't, it kind of snowballs and they end up having a backs to the wall kind of situation when you feel that sometimes just knock the ball long, turn the team around, start again, start higher up the pitch. That's not the Tottenham way.
That's the former Middlesbrough, Fulham and Chelsea goalkeeper Mark Schwarzer as Patterson tries to dance his way past Emerson. Goes behind for a corner kick. When they have scored first, as they did today in the previous 14 games, they've won 8, they've drawn 2 and they've lost 4. So they've dropped 16 points from winning positions. They lead by 2-0, but Everton are pressing with just over 20 minutes remaining. They have a corner kick on this near side. Team news from Anfield is coming up from our next commentary at 5:30. After Sports Report with Mark Chapman with the results and the reaction. McNeil to take it. Vicario under pressure, manages to get it away. The referee's blown his whistle. So team news from Anfield, John Murray.
Darwin Núñez is only a substitute after his 11 appearances without a goal for Liverpool. Gakpo starts instead. Jones keeps his place in midfield after the cup in midweek. Gravenberch is on the bench. So those are the 2 Liverpool changes from the team against Manchester United last weekend. Arsenal are unchanged, with Jorginho and El Neni fit enough to be named as substitutes.
Stephen Warnock alongside John, commentary at 5:30 here on 5 Live. Harrogate Town have got a second goal. Grimsby 0, Harrogate 2. Tranmere are now in front at Prenton Park in League 2. Tranmere 2, Swindon 1. Spurs playing out from the back. Awkward for Skip. Came under pressure as Everton pressed. Had to go back to Vicario to clear it away downfield. Flick header by Sarr, and it finds Kulusevski, who gets goal side of Patterson, tries to recover, does the Scottish international. Spurs are attacking left-hand side. Kulusevski, they've doubled up on him. Tarkowski holds off Kulusevski, and Patterson tries to run it away as there will be a free kick to Everton. The 2 players just getting in a tangle, and another goal at Leicester for Aaron Paul.
Game over here, Leicester 3, Rotherham 0. Gorgeous cross off the left by Ricardo Pereira, dinked into the box. There was Cesare Casadei, the substitute off the bench, with a diving header past Johansson. Leicester 3, Rotherham 0.
Another goal at Sunderland, Shojo Saka.
Bad to worse for Sunderland. Sunderland 0, Coventry 3. This time a mistake from goalkeeper Anthony Patterson, and Casey Palmer, the substitute, slotted home into the corner. Sunderland 0, Coventry 3.
That really will not go down well with the locals. Tony Mowbray, I thought, had done an excellent job. Played really good football. In many ways a victim of his own success for what he achieved last season. Thought maybe a little bit more credit would have been in the bank for Tony at Sunderland, not to be, and 3-0 down against an informed Coventry City. Sutton 0, Mansfield 2 is the latest score in League 2. 18 minutes remain. Everton, though, are coming forward. Højbjerg will intercept. But an Everton goal, Mark Schwarzer, and still anything could happen in this contest.
Well, Everton goal, it's game on, absolutely. What actually happens is when you are a team like Tottenham, who play out just all the time, you're predictable, right? Everton, you can see right now, they've pushed right up. They've got a 4-3-3 situation. The front 6 are so close. There's so little room for Everton, for Tottenham to play out. This occasion, they do get out down the flank to Son. Brennan Johnson, who actually wins the free kick. But it's sort of rarity. This has been a rarity in the second half. More often than not, they get caught up. They get the ball intercepted. Everton win the ball high up. Then again, it's Tottenham on the back foot again. So there's been a couple of times where you just kind of think, sometimes just look to play a slightly longer ball. When Vicario knocked the ball long, it was a flick on that helped Kulusevski on, and then all of a sudden Tottenham were on the attack. just a couple of times you need to just put a bit of doubt in the opposition that you're not always going to play out.
That's Mark Schwarzer on 5 Live in the World Service. Tottenham are making a change. Lo Celso's going to be coming on, and it is Sarr who is going off as they still lead by 2-0. Plymouth have got another goal back. Plymouth 2, Birmingham City 3 in the Championship. Nice ovation for Sarr, who's worked hard in the midfield. Crucially, he's avoided a yellow card that would have ruled him out of the trip to Brighton on Thursday night. But it's an area of North London that Everton haven't really done well in the past. Since 1985, they've only won 4 of their previous 37 trips to either White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they find themselves 2-0 down as Barnsley are leading Stevenage now at Oakwell in League One by 2-1. Pickford to Tarkowski inside his own penalty area. We've been playing for just over 73 minutes on BBC Radio 5 Live. Norwich have got a second goal at home to Huddersfield Town. They'll be unbeaten in 5, 2-0 at Carrow Road. Skip with a good sliding challenge wins the ball on that far side. Dyer, the substitute, runs it out of defence. They try and play it on the inside to Son. He collects it. Now in turn finds Lo Celso running at the heart of the Everton defence to Kulusevski. Left corner of the box. Kulusevski back into the box. Lo Celso back-heeled it towards Emerson Royale. And Tarkowski with a clearance for Everton. Still think, after those 2 goals in the opening 18 minutes, that there's further more goals in this contest still.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? It does feel like, certainly at the moment, or have been in this second half, that the most likely team to score is Everton, but you can't rule Tottenham out. They've been the more clinical in front of goal.
Here is Branthwaite, collects the ball outside his own penalty area. Garner goes back to Pickford. Luton still ahead at home to Newcastle. Masfarouki.
Couple of good chances for an equaliser though. One for Guimaraes, one just now for Botman from a corner as well. The game's really starting to open up now. Luton still lead though by 0-0.
Kulusevski gets there before Patterson. Kulusevski! Good save by Pickford. That was a very good, strong right hand. He just had too much strength. Shrugged off the challenge of Patterson, left-footed effort, Pickford with a save, corner kick, 2-0 Spurs.
Yeah, a very good save from Jordan Pickford. I think had this been scored, and actually, looking at the replay there, I think Kulusevski does really well, shoulder to shoulder. I don't think there's anything in that challenge. It's a really good sort of shoulder-to-shoulder, 50-50 challenge. Kulusevski does really, really well, and Jordan Pickford, very good save, very strong right hand.
I have a penchant for sometimes missing things because of the frantic nature in the second half, but I think that's probably the best effort for Spurs so far. Corner kick comes in now, caught by Pickford. Goal at Nottingham Forest, Pat Murphy.
Equaliser for Nottingham Forest, set up by Chris Wood. That's what he's in the team for, his power in the air. He gets the applaudits. I'm not sure if he got the final touch. Doesn't matter. The fact is, it's Nottingham Forest 2, Bournemouth 2.
Cardiff have levelled at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff 1. Andre Gomez with the cross, takes a deflection, picked up by Vicario. Peterborough now leads Shrewsbury in League One. Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough 2, and there are no other goals to tell you about. You're up to date. 5 Live in the World Service and BBC Sounds with 14 minutes remaining. Commentary coming at 5:30. Liverpool against Arsenal. We've got the boxing tonight live from Saudi Arabia. Deontay Wilder against Joseph Parker. Anthony Joshua, of course, is also in action. On 5 Live, the coverage starts at 9 o'clock. If you want 90 minutes of boxing coverage before that, then it's on Sports Extra at 7:30 before it will switch to 5 Live. Everton, Andre Gomez. Andre Gomez takes it neatly into his feet and shoots and hits the side netting. And he's saying that the keeper got a touch, but Stuart Atwell is unmoved and says it's a goal kick.
Yeah, it's very hard to see from our angle whether or not there is a touch from Tottenham. But they were adamant. There was like 3 Everton players were going around to the referee saying that there was a touch. It's another dangerous move from Everton down the left-hand side this time. We'll see on the replay, it may have been a touch actually off Skip. Not quite sure.
Ball up towards Son on the halfway line. Spurs still lead 2-0. Now it's with Lo Celso. The layoff to Porro. His opposite fullback on the left-hand side, Emerson Royale, was also inverted just outside the centre circle in his own half. The Spurs in all wide play from right to left. As I make notes and I look at the chances that either side has created, I reckon Tottenham have had 4 good chances. Ball played through the middle. Tarkowski prevents it from reaching Son. Everton have had 4 or 5 themselves.
They have. I mean, had you have not seen the scoreline, the way that the game's been played, Everton have been very good in this second half. It's surprising almost that they're 2-0 down. And obviously we've seen that first half. We've seen how clinical Tottenham were. They played some really good stuff themselves. But this second half has really been mostly Everton.
Beto's going to be coming on as well. Sean Dyche still believes that they can salvage something with just over 12 minutes remaining of normal time on 5 Live. Davies just outside his own penalty area, lifted on by Son with a dangling right leg, trying to roll away from Patterson was Kulusevski, helped out by Tarkowski, keeps the ball in play, runs away from Kulusevski and goes to ground and gets a free kick just short of the halfway line. Sean Dyche, who's lost his 2 previous visits to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium by an aggregate scoreline of 9-0, conceded another 2 goals here today, but has seen his side come close, and it's going to be Onana who's going to be coming off, and Beto is going to be coming on for Amadou Onana, and we've got just over 11 minutes remaining. I'll run through all the latest scores in the various divisions for you very, very soon. This is 5 Live. Pickford waits to take the free kick. Very high line though, isn't it, from Tottenham?
Yeah, you wouldn't expect anything else from Tottenham. They do play a very, very high line, and they're doing it again now.
They're midway through their own half as Pickford takes it. Diagonal ball, drops just to the edge of the D. Headed on by Tarkowski, headed away by Lo Celso. Comes out towards Garner. James Garner. Diagonal ball, wants the return from McNeil, but McNeil will send over the cross. Left-footed, high in the air, well claimed by Vicario. Assistant referee had raised his flag anyway on this near side. They release it, and Spurs now on the counter-attack. Lo Celso running forward. He's got Son to his left. He finds Son, the Spurs captain. It was just held up a little bit, and he couldn't pass the ball back, poke it back towards Lo Celso. Sliding across was Højbjerg, who wants it off Sean Dyche, but he's on ball boy duties in his suit. He'd already tossed the ball back, and play is back underway. Everton still believe.
Of course, and they should, because they've had a lot of good chances in this second half. Been unfortunate not to have 1 goal on marked on, and they're going to have more chances, I'm sure, before the end of the game.
Danjuma enters the penalty area inside left channel. Skip with the clearance away, goes to the side. Porro plays it forward. Here now is Johnson. Johnson will run away, gets away from James Garner, who falls to his knees. Kulusevski on the right-hand side now. Referee has to make way for Lo Celso. It's opening up for Emerson Royale, who's powering up on this near side the left, but instead it goes back towards Son. Son from out from his feet, look towards Johnson, and it runs technically and harmlessly out wide for a goal kick, and it remains 2-0. 10 minutes remain.
Yeah, that's what we just lacked in this second half, that little bit of extra quality with that last touch, last ball, last shot on goal.
Before today, Spurs 33 points from 17 games. In the Premier League era, they have collected more at this same stage. In 11-12 they had 38 points, they finished 4th. In 18-19 campaign they had 39 points, they finished 4th. They're moving on to 36 from 18, and they're going to climb into 4th position. Tottenham would love to still be there come the end of the season and a return to the Champions League. Garner to Danjuma to run at the Spurs defence. He enters the penalty area, but Dyer went with him stride for stride and got the block in, and it goes behind for a corner kick. We'll quickly nip to Forest. Pat Murphy.
Forest nearly got a third just now. Curling shot from Gibbs White, acrobatically cleared off the line from Katara. Which team is playing with 10 men? Forest 2, Bournemouth 2.
2-2 there. Luton still lead Newcastle by a goal to 0. Fulham 0, Burnley 2. Blackpool now lead Bristol Rovers 3-1 in League One. Everton are 2-0 down. They've got a corner kick. In swinger from that far side, the left. Downward header. It's going to come out to Gomez, who hits it. And what a hit by Andre Gomez. Andre Gomez has reduced the arrears. His first appearance for Everton since May 2022. And he's got Everton a goal back, and they deserve it. 2-1 Tottenham.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great strike from the far right-hand side of the 18-yard box. As the ball pops out, whipped in from a corner. It's sort of just a little bit cleared from Tottenham there, and as the ball pops out, Gomez just runs onto it and hits it first time. Gets a little bit fortunate, goes through a crowd of players, but it just rockets into that bottom corner. Really good strike. No chance.
You think back to that bad ankle injury he sustained against Tottenham, what would be now 4 years ago. Well, that was a sweet moment to erase those memories against Tottenham. That goal has been coming. And all of a sudden, we've now got a very nervy finish for Tottenham Hotspur supporters with just over 7 minutes remaining of normal time.
Yeah, there's a late challenge here on Brennan Johnson. The referee's stopped play. I'm not sure. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't actually spoken. I think it's Patterson that committed the foul. He's going to call him over. We haven't seen the replay as yet, because as we were watching the ball, the pass, he's pulled out a yellow card, given him a yellow card.
Patterson then is shown yellow as the third Everton player to be booked by referee Stuart Atwell. No other latest scores to tell you about. I'll give you the latest in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic lead Livingston 2-0. They'll go 5 points clear of Rangers. Rangers, though, will have 2 games in hand. Hearts lead St Mirren 2-0. Kilmarnock lead St Johnstone by 2-1. And no further action to be taken against Patterson. The 3,000 Evertonians on that far side are in good voice. We said before that Everton believe, and certainly that belief has been vindicated. Surely Spurs can't throw away another lead. McNeil, he's found Danjuma. Danjuma has got a lot of space. Danjuma with a shot, very good save by Vicario. One-handed save to turn it behind. Everton so close to an equaliser.
Yeah, really good chance from Danjuma there. Puts off a really good shot with his left foot. Vicario gets back, scrambles back into his goal, and then it's a top-hand save. He's full stretch to his left-hand side. That big right hand pops up and flicks it over the crossbar. Top class save.
They've been brilliant this second half of Everton. They've created chance after chance. In comes the corner kick. Crowded penalty area. Header cleared away by Ben Davies in front of his own goalkeeper. Danger still not dealt with. Beto's downward header and eventually hammered away by Højbjerg. There's a Spurs player down. This is going to be a very, very tense last 6 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on 5 Live in the World Savers. We go to the Rugby Union now. Bath Harlequins, James Burridge.
Bath have the bonus point score. Miles Reed, pushover try, 25 points to 12. That means they'll be top of the Premiership if they win tonight.
Watford have got a late equaliser at Ewood Park. Blackburn 1, Watford 1. Latest scores in League 2 are coming up. Accrington 2, Walsall 1. Grimsby 0, Harrogate Town 2. That'll be the end of Grimsby's 6-match unbeaten run. MK Dons, though, are going to go 7 unbeaten. Morecambe 1, MK Dons 2. Sutton United 0, Mansfield 2. Tranmere 2, Swindon Town 1. Wrexham lead Newport County by 1-0. They'll move level with Barrow in second place on 43 points. An update from Luton now, Mas Faruqi.
Ross Bartley's just flashed a shot just past the left-hand post as Luton chase a second here. Have chances at the other end for Wilson and for Longstaff as well. Luton holding on. Luton 1, Newcastle 0.
I mentioned Wrexham, another goal. Owen Gwynedd.
Yes, Wrexham 2, Newport 0. A carbon copy of the first goal. Ben Tozer, long throw. This time Ellerly prodding in for a second. Wrexham 2, Newport 0.
Coming back from an offside position was Kulusevski. That will be a free kick that Everton want to take quickly. Kulusevski's just kicked the ball away here. That's going to result in a yellow card. Let's get an update from Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
It's still 2-2 here. Alanga nearly got a third for Forest just now on the break, but Solanke almost got his hat-trick at the other end. A miraculous stop from Toffolo 6 yards out. Forest 2, Bournemouth 2, anyone's game.
Well, this could be anybody. Anything could happen yet here as well at Tottenham, who lead by 2-1. Everton haven't given up, and they've got their rewards with a goal back. We've got 4 minutes of normal time remaining from the free kick. Downward headed by Dyer. Sliced away by Johnson, chested forward by Garner. Branthwaite with a volley, blocked, edge of the area. Kulusevski tries to run it away, gives it away though to Danjuma. Danjuma running forward over on that far side, the left. Kulusevski goes to approach him. After Sports Report coming up, Danjuma's done well on the left-hand side. Took 4 Tottenham players eventually. Lo Celso sliding in behind for a corner. Everton pressing and coming on strong.
Yeah, he does really well, Danjuma there. He nutmegs Porro. As he does a bit of a trick there, drops a shoulder, swivels, but it's Lesotho who comes across there. Last-ditch challenge.
Only Tottenham have a better away record in the Premier League this season than Everton. Corner kick, far side the left. Crowded penalty area, goes over everybody, heads out for a goal kick. So, before we have time, we'll give you the latest scores in League 1. Barnsley 2, Stevenage 1, they've come from behind. Blackpool lead Bristol Rovers 3-1. Bolton Wanderers 3, Leyton Orient 2. Carlisle 0, Cheltenham 1. Carlisle without a win in 7. Charlton lead Burton by 1-0. Northampton 1, Oxford United 1. Portsmouth the leaders, pegged back by Fleetwood 1-1 at Fratton Park. Reading lead Wigan by 2-0. Shrewsbury 1, Peterborough United 2. Peterborough looking to extend their lead to 6 and close the gap on Pompey. And Wickham lead Port Vale by 1-0. That could be their first win in 10 to Craven Cottage, Henry Moran.
where the score remains Fulham 0, Burnley 2. Fulham trying to find a way back into this game, but goodness, Burnley have played well in this second half. They've got both goals since the break. They've been excellent. Fulham 0, Burnley 2.
Ball goes back towards Davis. Flicked on by Emerson Royale. Cleared by Lo Celso. Son coming back to Johnson. Spurs haven't been able to hang on to the ball in the second half, and they've lost it once again. They thought there could have been a free kick there on Johnson. Slipped by Garner. Spurs have everybody back behind the ball. 2.5 minutes remain. Dyche wants the ball long. Patterson hits it long. Calvert-Lewin is there, gets his head onto it. Dyer is forced to clear it out of play for a throw. Sending off at Queen's Park Rangers, Katie Smith.
Yeah, QPR 0, Southampton 1, but Southampton down to 10. Shea Charles getting a second yellow, putting his arm out as Adoma is away and out on the counter on the right-hand side. Can QPR find something here? QPR 0, Southampton 1.
Well, the result in the Championship earlier was Leeds United 4, Ipswich 0. Latest scores, Blackburn 1, Watford 2. So 2 goals very late on for Watford have turned it around at Ewood Park. Leicester City the leaders, lead Rotherham 3-0. They'll be going 6 points clear. Middlesbrough 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Norwich 2, Huddersfield 0. Plymouth 2, Birmingham City 3. Birmingham are down to 10 men. Southampton are down to 10 men. Still lead QPR though by a goal to none, as we've just heard. Looking to go unbeaten in 15. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff 1. Stoke 0, Millwall 0. Sunderland 0, Coventry City 3. They're the latest scores. You're up to date as we head towards the conclusion of this game, and we've got 90 seconds remaining. Johnson now for Spurs, who lead 2-1, enters the penalty area. It might reach Kulusevski, cleared away though by Mykolenko, and Gomez now will bring the ball clear. Cardiff now are actually leading at Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1 in the Championship. McNeil inside to Gomez. Everton not finished yet. Diagonal ball. Danjuma unmarked, edge of the area. Challenge comes in from Lo Celso. Still finds Danjuma, but I think that Mykolenko knew he was in an offside position. He couldn't go for it, and the ball rolls out for a goal kick. 60 seconds remain. Breathtaking second half.
Absolutely, you can see the way the Spurs are defending. They're pulled right across. When the ball's on the left-hand side, they pull right across, and then the outlet for Everton is always that far post, the diag. And then Danjuma found himself in a bit of space. His first touch wasn't the best. There was some last-ditch defending there from Lo Celso again, and does just enough to put him off.
Wickham 1, Port Vale 1, and Plymouth have equalised against the 10 men of Birmingham City. 3-3 at Home Park in the Championship. We'll find out how much added on time there will be here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. As Tarkowski, his strong header forward, and in the end it was Porro who heads it back towards Vicario, and he'll dive on that and he'll stay smothered on it, all in blue. As here comes the fourth official, he's poised, Tim Robinson, as he's just having to deal with some verbals from Sean Dyche at the moment. I wonder if Sean has had a word just to see how much there will be. 6 minutes that we're now into here on 5 Live. Spurs lead by 2-1. Fulham 0, Burnley 2. Luton 1, Newcastle United 0. 2 very important scorelines at the bottom of the table. And Forest down to 10 men 2. Bournemouth 2 is another one. Everton, Danjuma slows to a walking pace, accelerates, tries to work over the cross, blocked by Porro. Out of play it goes for a throw right down by the corner flag. It's been some display by Everton second half, Mark Schwarzer.
It has. They've just not stopped. They've not given up. They haven't given up from the start, really. They've had a really positive start. They were a little bit unfortunate to find themselves 2-0 down. They didn't play badly at all. They just haven't taken their chances, haven't been clinical enough in front of goal, whereas Tottenham have just been that little bit better up until this point.
Lo Celso to Kulusevski, out to Son, ball inside now to Lo Celso. Kulusevski's going on ahead of him. He nutmegs Tarkowski, passes the ball now out to Brennan Johnson, operating on this left-hand side. Johnson waits, slows it down, and we're into the first of the added-on minutes of 6 minutes as Lo Celso, free kick though, goes against Tottenham. Stuart Atwell says that will be a free kick to Everton for a foul on Garner, and they send everybody forward. Pickford goes, this is only going one way, up the pitch you go, and those orange and navy striped shirts. The Spurs provide a high line just outside the centre circle of their own half. Pickford then will strike it, left-footed. Spurs supporters trying to play their role. Headed on by Branthwaite, cleared away by Højbjerg. Nobody is leaving early here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. As Patterson goes back to Pickford. Pickford waits, hits it again left-footed. There were 2 Everton players coming back from an offside position, and it goes all the way through to Vicario as Pickford slips.
Yeah, he's overhit that one, hasn't he, Jordan Pickford? I mean, the idea is right, but he's got the direction wrong. And obviously the power on the strike as well. It goes all the way through to Vicario. It's wasting valuable time for Everton. For Tottenham, it's a breather.
It is a breather, because they have really come under some strong pressure in the second half from the away side. Patterson plays it forward. Beto will give chase as he lumbers his way downfield, and Davies has a little glance over his shoulder and lets it run out of play for a throw. Full time in the Rugby Union. To Bath we go, James Burridge.
Bath 25, Harlequins 17. The 4 tries, the 5 points. Joe Thuckenasinger, man of the match, and Finn Russell, absolutely brilliant this afternoon, alongside with Alfie Barbary. 25-17, Bath, top of Christmas.
Well, I don't know where you are travelling if you're listening to BBC Radio 5 this afternoon on your way home for Christmas, but don't go anywhere, because after Sports Report with the results and the reaction with Mark Chapman, we've got commentary of Liverpool-Arsenal to see you home. 2-1 to Tottenham, stoppage time, Skip's ball goes into no man's land, and you can hear the tension inside the stadium as Johnson actually berated Skip with that ball there, because that went literally straight through to Pickford.
Yeah, they wanted them to retain the possession, keep hold of it, look to play their way through. Instead, he looks for that direct pass, and no runners are on there, and the ball was slightly mishit as well.
Lo Celso looks towards Son. Son gets there, enters the penalty area. Son, the angle is tight, cuts it back to Kulusevski. Branthwaite running back, snuffs it out. Gomez now looks for the release. Danjuma, was he onside? Flag has stayed down. Danjuma running forward. Danjuma enters the penalty area. Danjuma over the crossbar, goal kick. What a game of football this has been.
Oh, it's just crazy, it really is. I mean, you see Tottenham at one end with Son trying to find Kulusevski, and all of a sudden it's just one straight ball from Everton, and all of a sudden Spurs are like 3 against 2. I mean, it's crazy. They should never be 3 against 2. You can see Ange Postecoglou's going absolutely crazy on the sideline. He cannot understand it. They've got numbers. Just players are not looking, not around them, not picking up, not organised. It's just madness from Spurs at this moment in time.
And did you see the inquest as well after Danjuma's fired wide? There was Porro, there was Emerson, there was Davis, there were Dyer, there were arms going, accusations left, right and centre as to who should have done what. We're into the 5th minute now of the 6 to be added on as Vicario scoops it up inside his penalty area. Great noise inside this impressive stadium in North London. Tottenham Hotspur looking for a 3rd successive win to take them above the champions Manchester City. And Everton will count themselves unfortunate, because they have contributed to a very entertaining game of football as Gomez is forward. 30 yards out from goal to Calvert-Lewin, able to turn just outside the penalty area. Back it goes to McNeil. McNeil floats it across. Danjuma! Did it cross the line? Flags up anyway.
I tell you what, wow.
Meanwhile, goal at Nottingham Forest. It's a late goal too. It was 2-2. Who scored it? Pat Murphy.
Dominic Solanke for Bournemouth. That's his hat-trick. Deep cross. Another magnificent soaring header from Solanke from 15 yards out. Keeper no chance. Cruel on Forest. Forest 2, Bournemouth 3.
Where did that goal effort from Danjuma? Did it hit the outside of the post or the underside and bounce down?
It hit the underside of the crossbar and actually hit Vicario and back out again. Oh. But it was ruled to be offside, but Vicario didn't know much about it at all.
Full time at Craven Cottage, Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Burnley 2. Who saw this coming? Second half stunners from Odegaard and Berger, making it a very happy start to Christmas for Burnley. They're within 3 of safety. Fulham 0, Burnley 2.
Well, that defeat for Nottingham Forest at the City Ground will certainly have them looking over their shoulders. Remember that Luton Town are still leading Newcastle by a goal to 0. We're into the 6th minute of added on time here. The Tottenham fans are celebrating. Full time now at Kenilworth Road. Naz.
Very emotional full-time celebrations from Rob Edwards and his players. Full-time, Luton 1, Newcastle 0.
And it's finished here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 2, Everton 1. Spurs eventually got over the line, but what an effort from Everton. Mark Schwarzer.
Oh, crazy, isn't it? I mean, the way that this game was played, the pace it played at throughout the course of the whole 90-plus minutes was outstanding. Both sides were going for it head-to-head. Obviously, lots of mistakes, pressure from both sides. Spurs guilty, obviously, of giving the ball away too often in dangerous areas, but Everton, relentless, did not give up. Were unfortunate on a number of occasions not to find an equaliser, but Spurs did just enough to get it over the line.
Thanks to Mark Schwarzer, Richarlison and Son in the first half. Andre Gomez, 8 minutes from the end. But what an entertaining game of football. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 1.
Sensational game of football, and what has been a remarkable afternoon in the Premier League.